Last week in the A's opening series, the Angels came to the Coliseum and flexed their muscles. The Halos' potent lineup powered their way past the Athletics, taking 3 out of 4. Now the green and gold come south to the Big A and look to return the favor. This young core of Athletics hits the road for the first time here in 2018 and will look to wreak havoc throughout the American League. A's, Angels, Game 1, next. Well, the Athletics' first road trip of the year starts at the Big A in Anaheim. It is a beautiful night for baseball. It's the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Angels off to a good start. They're 5-2, and the buzzer on the ballpark has to do with the man named Shohei Ohtani. Ray, we saw him pitch against the A's, but the last couple of games, it's been his offense that has people talking. He's been pretty impressive.
You know, he's been very impressive. The power that he has shown since coming home. He had a 2-run home run in his first game. Look at that. That's an Ichiro swing. It looks just like Ichiro Suzuki, but something about his power. Ichiro has it also, but this young man is showing it because he got the silent treatment after his first home run, which is customary in a big leaguers, gets the curtain call, and what's he do the next game? Does the same thing. 2-run shot again, so he's swinging the bat extremely well. Tonight he's DHing, which he's pitching on Sunday, which should mean that he won't play tomorrow when the A's play the second game of this series. But he has been the real package that they thought, even though he had a horrible spring, he's doing a great job during the season.
Ohtani will bat 8th in this very good Angels lineup. It's a lineup that Daniel Gossett's going to face for the second time. For more on that, let's go downstairs to our man Dallas Braden. Dallas, how you doing?
Doing well, guys, thanks. That's right. Tonight, Daniel Gossett will take on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for the second time this season. Didn't quite get started the way he'd like to. 66 total pitches in his original outing. Only 34 of those were strikes. So a couple things to look forward to. Number one, strike one. He's got to be in the zone early, and he's got to be in the zone often. 41 balls thrown total. 41 fastballs thrown. So look for fastball command as well. In the strike zone early, fastball command, and hopefully things fare a little better tonight for Gossett and the Oakland A's. Guys, back to you.
Indeed, the A's and Gossett hoping to start this road trip on a winning note. The Angels will send Parker Bridwell to the mound. Lineups and first pitch from the Big A coming up next.
designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Jack in the Box, try the new Brunchmas Country Scrambler Plate with Jimmy Dean sausage links, only at Jack in the Box. And by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So the Angels take the field wearing the red tops tonight. Game one of a 3-game weekend series here in Southern California. A beautiful night and a big crowd is gathering here at the Big A. Let's check out the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break. And it is, I told you it's nice, 65 degrees, just a nice breeze and very, very comfortable weather for a ball game. So the A's wearing the green tops tonight with the gray pants, as this is the first of an 8-game road trip for the Athletics. Let's take a look at the A's lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. So Matt Joyce, he'll lead off at left field. Marcus Simien's at short. Jed Lowrie's at second. Chris Davis will be the designated hitter. Then it's Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Jonathan Lucroy, Stephen Piscotty, and Boog Powell.
And Matt Shoemaker's on the disabled list, which means opens up a spot for Parker Bridwell, who had a couple of starts against the A's last year. Did not last very long, but seemed like every time he pitched, the Angels found a way to win. One of the games, that was the case. Matt Olson played well against him, but Parker Bridwell basically fastball, cutter, curveball, slider, change. He's got all the package, and he's making his first start of this campaign for the Angels.
So with the Angels rotation a little bit banged up already, Bridwell started the season in the minor leagues but did not pitch in a game in the minor leagues, and he is in the big leagues 7 games into the season. So he faces Matt Joyce leading things off here in the first. Two and 0. Dallas Braden sitting downstairs, so he got used to his spot at the Coliseum. How's the spot at the Big A, Dallas?
I mean, the spot at home, boys, is tough to beat, but this is this is right up there with them. I am about 4 feet away from the on-deck circle here in a camera well.
See Andrelton Simmons with that shift ranging far to his left, and he makes the play. That's out number 1. So where is Dallas? There he is.
That's right. It's not bad from where I'm sitting here, guys. Like I said, the sights, the sounds, the smells of the game at home, on the road. Nobody luckier than me. Had a nice little chat with Simien and Joyce before the game. I like where we're at, boys.
Yeah, that's a pretty good view. So here's Marcus Simien. And Marcus rolls one towards Simmons, scoops it up, flips it across, 2 away. So some early action for Andrelton Simmons. Let's look at the rest of the Angels defense. It has Upton, Trout, and Calhoun in the outfield, one of the better outfields in all of baseball. Valbuena, Simmons, Cozart, and Pujols on the infield, and Martin Maldonado is your catcher. So with 2 outs, Jed Lowrie strolls to the plate. Lowrie had .313 on the year. He's got 10 hits and 32 at bats, 3 doubles. And the first pitch just a touch low. Lowrie's knocked in 5. Pretty good pitch there, 94 from Parker Bridwell with a little sink.
With good sink, and guys, right here from where I'm at, this is a great angle to see the angle he's creating. Great downhill movement, great downhill angle.
High to right field and deep. Calhoun near the wall, and that baby's gone. 1-0 A's.
How'd the hanging curveball look from down there, Dallas?
Oh, Fosse, it's still going, big boy.
Yeah, that downward angle with a hanging curveball, but Jed Lowrie gets number 1 of the season, big doubles man, but don't miss a hanging curve, and we'll get a chance to show the right field wall a little bit shorter, but this hanger comes floating in, and Jed Lowrie, what does he do? Just reacts. That's what you do. React, get the foot down, and let it go, and ball carries well here in Anaheim. And it's a nighttime, but it's a 65-degree first pitch, and not surprised to see that one go.
So first home run of the year for Jed Lowrie, and it gives the A's an early lead. Well, PitchCast tonight brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company. 2-0 to Chris Davis. For the A's as a team, that was their 6th home run, and this is the 9th game of the year. Simmons backhands, drops it, picks it up, throws in time to get Chris Davis. Side retired. Jed Lowrie with his first home run of the year, and it gives the A's a 1-0 lead as he deposits a hanging curveball into the seats in right. Calhoun, Simmons, Valbuena, Ohtani, Maldonado. There's your Angels starting lineup.
And Daniel Gossett, you got your run, buddy. Take it to the house. Let's go. That's all you need. Just one run. He's 0-1, second start, and that abbreviated wind-up, something to minimize a lot of things. And if he could get through this first inning without giving up a run, it'd be a good start, especially after your club with a 2-out home run by Jed Lowrie. Get you on the board.
Cozart had a good rip, fouls it straight back.
Cozart's found a home with the Angels. Realized that they saw him in Oakland playing both third and second, and Ian Kinsler out until next Tuesday when he's eligible to come off the 10-day disabled list. The Angels have a lot of moving parts that they can move around to fill the gaps if somebody goes on the disabled list.
2-1 to Cozart. And this one's popped right up over our head. You got to be ready here at the Big A. Foul balls. This is probably, I think, well, maybe Baltimore, but this is close to being the closest we are to the field.
But we have JR. We have John Reynolds. I mean, he protects everybody up here. He'll duck faster than anybody.
Yeah, he's protecting all right. So 3-2 the count to Zach Cozart.
Feel free to go ahead and give him my address down here, boys.
Yeah, you better be ready down there. Chapman is going to watch this one head for the seats. Hey, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go.
You have to figure mostly fastballs from Gossett, especially in the 3-2 count. And he throws a curve.
Hit it. Actually hit him. So, leadoff man aboard.
Well, you talked about it. Need to see him in the zone early here. Finds himself late in the count, deep in the count against Cozart with 2 strikes. You like to see him be in a position to expand. Not necessarily the case. Needs to be around the zone. That one just backed up on him a little bit, sort of casted that breaker.
Here's Trout. Trout at 233 with a couple of home runs. He's got 7 hits and 30 at-bats, 3 doubles. He's walked 4 times. He has struck out 4 times. Close pitch, 1-0. Angels are 5-2. They won 3 out of 4 from the A's at the Coliseum, and then came home. They won 2 out of 3 against the Cleveland Indians. They were off yesterday. Mike Scioscia, 19th season. And he's a free agent at the end of this year. How about that?
Yes, he is, and I doubt that they'll go anywhere.
The Angels in that opening 4-game series at the Coliseum outscored the A's 22-14. Looks like it's a pretty good Angels lineup, and we will score some runs.
Well, as we talked in that series also, Kai, 11 of those 22 came with 2 outs. So that's, you just cannot have that happen. And especially some of the innings started after 2 were out, and then a couple of hits together, and then all of a sudden the Angels scoring some runs.
Two and 0 to Trout. Got to be careful. Right field. Piscotty's there, and he's got it.
It's too strong. Normal hitter, that'd been a base hit, but he's so strong.
Another note about the Angels: they're 13-3 against the A's in the last 16 games here at the Big A. So this has not been a great spot for the A's the last couple years. Overall, last year the Angels were 12-7 against the Athletics.
Well, they've got the right man on the mound, do the Oakland A's tonight in Parker Bridwell, the opposition. Last time the start here against Oakland at home, 3 innings, 7 runs, 2 homers via Matt Olson and Bruce Maxwell. Maxwell not in the lineup tonight, but they were able to get to him here. See if it can get done again.
Here's Upton.
They got to him in Oakland also, Dallas, because a total of 13 runs. He's given up 13 hits, 6+ innings.
That's right.
Combined. So they've gotten him both places. And the unfortunate thing for the A's, as we mentioned, the record the Angels have when Bridwell's been on the mound, he has not contributed to the success, but the team as a whole has done well.
Quick, get a miss.
Yeah, you mentioned that, Foss. 5-3 at home with a 3.89 ERA and 11 starts, 20 total starts. Undefeated on the road, a road warrior.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Daniel Gossett just not to see his club add on, but also he has to do his job, especially after the leadoff hitter gets on with a 3-2 curveball that barely nicked his elbow.
Upton fouls it straight back to the screen. So Gossett ahead in the count, 1-2. Gossett, 2nd-round pick of the A's in 2014 out of Clemson. Struggled a little bit at the big league level last year. Spartanburg, South Carolina. A very high draft pick by the A's. And Lucroy did his best to block it. It was a pitch that, well, I would say, I'm guessing maybe bounced 2 feet in front of home plate.
I would say that you're correct. 60 feet 6 inches from slab to the plate, and that was a bouncer out in front. And yeah, you're right, Lucroy just put his body in front of it. But once Zach Cozart saw the ball hit the ground, even a good block, it's going to be tough for him to throw him out at second.
Well, that is not your conventional pitch in the dirt to block.
No. The divot out in front of home plate.
2-2 the count.
Pujols
to follow.
There was a couple things going into this game tonight I took a look at with Daniel Gossett. One of the things was the conversion count 1-1. Got to do a better job. Hitters were hitting over 400 in that conversion count. So getting to 1-2 was going to be a big deal for Daniel Gossett tonight.
Swing and a miss on a curveball, and Gossett does have a good curveball. So Upton is retired.
Talked about that bouncer, Foss, that worm burner, if you will, does a good job trying to expand with that breaking ball. He gets a little deeper on this one, more depth in the zone. This one is a more competitive pitch, an offering that Upton cannot lay off of. So a good job by Gossett to double it up, throw himself a better one.
Hey, Dallas, I want to ask you about something you just said, conversion count. Explain that.
Conversion count, 1-1. The batting average, like I said, after 1-1, upwards of 400. If he gets to 1-2, we're talking about 220, 230 batting average for Daniel Gossett. So a huge shift in success for the hitter versus 1-2 as opposed to 2-1.
So it's almost like get ahead, get a first pitch strike. It's kind of in the same deal.
Oh, absolutely. Along that very same vein. Very, very important. Opponent's batting average against Gossett in a 1-0 count, 333, 204.29. You take it to 0-1, that first pitch strike, 267. So you can see the disparity between first pitch strikes and falling behind.
That's something to watch for tonight. Not just the first pitch, but what happens when the count gets to 1-1. 1-0 here to Albert Pujols. And now it's 2-0, so this would be a be careful count.
Well, the one thing that Dallas is talking about, 1 and 2 good hitters will shorten up a little bit. Jonathan Lucroy's already blocked 3 in the dirt, not counting the one off his chest that got so far away he couldn't keep his Kozar from going to second. But 2 and 1 hitters typically say, okay, you're going to throw me a fastball and I'm going to gear up for it. 1 and 2, maybe seeing more off-speed pitches, and depending on the type of hitter, if he's smart, he'll shorten his swing and take what he's given and maybe go opposite field. A lot of hitters just swing hard anyway, regardless of the count.
Tapped at the plate, so 2-1 the count.
And as he squares off here against Albert Pujols in the cleanup spot, something else I noticed, guys, about Daniel Gossett, in the first 3 spots in the lineup, they're hitting over 300. The cleanup spot specifically hitting 191 with 12 punch-outs in 50 plate appearances. So it's a mindset thing. This cleanup hitter cannot and will not beat Daniel Gossett. So I'd like to see him take that mindset throughout the rest of the lineup.
Right now, take the mindset with Albert with this runner in scoring position, because Albert Pujols is good. He's an RBI machine.
Inside, and now it's 3-1.
You saw Cole Calhoun in the first game hit a home run. He didn't do much after that, at least against the Athletics. But first base open. This fastball inside, a little too close, but maybe positioning for something outside. There's Cole Calhoun waiting, left-handed hitter. First base is open.
So Pujols with the walk looked like Gossett pitching carefully to Pujols.
Scott Emerson has seen enough of the pitches in the dirt. You know, if you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss, down low. And Jonathan Lucroy does a good job of blocking pitches in the dirt. So this may be just a little bit of a refresher, and something that Bob Melvin said about all the trips to the mound and minimizing, limiting them but he says Scott Emerson usually at 30 pitches, this time he's going at 20. So maybe he has seen something that needs to be discussed, especially with the tying run at second. He's got a good trot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emo. That's a big
Big
trot.
league trot.
Yeah. Some guys go slow, but Emo's got that little. That's good. Don't see him as often anymore, just because they're limiting the number of trips.
Here is Cole Calhoun. Calhoun homered on opening day in Oakland.
Be careful with the fastball in. Be careful with the opposite field hitting. So you make a mistake in, he can pull it in the seats. You've seen him do that. He also not opposed to go to the opposite field.
Shot. That's Lowrie playing right behind second base. He backhands and he throws out Calhoun. Side retired Angels strand a pair in the bottom of the first. is exciting. The NHL playoffs getting started. NBA playoffs will be starting soon. Major League Baseball in full swing. Swing and a miss. Quick 0-2 to Matt Olson. As we mentioned earlier, Olson with a couple of home runs against Parker Bridwell. That was obviously last year. This year, Olson 7 for 29.
Well, as we have said, with Matt Chapman and Matt Olson last year, both getting to the big leagues for the first time and having success. A lot of scouting reports. You don't see somebody and have AAA. They may do some things, but that second year, in the case of both of them, it's the first full year. Have to see how they perform, because if we know, then the pitchers know, and they're going to pitch accordingly. Because now they look at both Matt Olson and Matt Chapman as threats.
Those are the two starts the guys were talking about against the A's last year. Simmons scoops up the short hop, flips it across.
Well, August the 30th and September the 4th. Home here was the first one. That was a 3-run shot to straightaway center. Slightly right of center. And that went to the Coliseum. He did it again. You see, with that kind of power, you don't have to worry about trying to pull everything. He went just to the right of center over the Xfinity sign. I wouldn't do a forearm. And he's too big. Might hurt you.
So 1-0 to Matt Chapman. I mean, really, Parker Bridwell, I mean, he really was good against everybody else except the A's.
Yeah.
We talked about the power production of Oakland. We know how successful the Oakland A's were last year at hitting the long ball, providing that power. You talk about a young man in Parker Bridwell, susceptible to the homer in 121 innings, 19 home runs allowed, 10 from the left side, 9 versus the right side. So you mentioned Olson, you mentioned Chapman, and guys like that. They don't discriminate.
A little bit inside. And Bridwell last year 10-3, 3.64 ERA. 10 wins, the most by a rookie in the American League. Right field, and that's a base hit for Chapman.
Oh, we talked to Jim Costamores, too, back in the studio about that right there. Breaking ball with 2 strikes, and what does he do? He inside outs a pitch that's inside, close enough to be a strike. But he sees the ball a long time. He's so strong and just flips the ball to right field. And unlike Trout, who hit the line drive that was caught, Matt Chapman gets the breaking ball inside out. He's got a 1-out base hit opposite field.
Seeing some maturity in his hitting at a very young age.
And you know, he's smart, because really what it's going to show, he's going to hit for power and for an average.
Nope. Yeah,
I mean, he could steal bases. He's your true 5-tool player.
Is that pitch right there? A lot of guys are just going to open up and say it's a hanger. I'm going to take a big giant rip at it, but he really kind of stays inside this and doesn't try to do too much with it.
And if you get a base hit on 2 strikes, take it, because the pitcher and the numbers that Dallas talked about, really it's in the favor of the pitcher.
Lucroy headed for the left field corner. Chapman can run. Digging for third, and Matt Williams will hold him up. So Lucroy with a double, second and third, 1 out for Piscotty.
Lucroy does a good job of seeing this pitch up. Trying to go with a heater in. Lucroy does a good job not allowing himself to be crowded, pull the hands through. They actually had Upton shaded towards the left center gap. So for Lucroy to pull that ball, pull his hands in, not something they had him played for.
So big RBI opportunity for Stephen Piscotty.
You can also credit Justin Upton, because he got to the ball, played the carom off the wall, and Matt Williams, with the speed of Chapman, you'd figure that he could score.
Off Maldonado's glove. Wow. Coming in to score is Chapman, and it's 2-0 the A's lead. That one just, it was a pitch that was a little high, just popped right out of the glove of Maldonado.
Take it. Now the infield will come in, but this is surprising. We have seen Maldonado, something must have happened where as he went forward, it's a pass ball, but it's also a cross-up because he's talking to Bridwell right now. That's a cross-up because that pitch is too much in the strike zone, and I think they're going over the signs now. There was a runner at second and Lucroy, but sometimes when that happens, to see a catcher of the status of Maldonado to miss a pitch like that, that's a cross-up. You just don't see that happen. And the infield is going to play in.
Guys, that's also a mound visit.
That's
just
right.
to note.
Well, and
why is
but see what he's talking about. He said it's a cross-up, and that's not supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree.
I
I don't think that should be a mound visit. Because that was one of the things in the mound visit rules, where if it's a cross-up,
that's right,
that the pitcher and the catcher could talk about it because that guy can get hurt on a cross-up.
Yeah,
so I don't think that should be a mound visit. But I want to say the umpire did point up here.
Yeah.
Trout over. Lucroy tagging up. Trout's throw to the plate is just a little offline, and it was deep enough fly ball. Piscotty a sacrifice fly, and it's 3-0.
Boy, good idea. The A's taking advantage. I don't care if it's a cross-up or not. Score a 1. And of course, had he done that with Chapman at third, he would have scored. But there'd also be 2 outs with a run at third. So the passed ball and the probable cross-up helps the A's get another run at third. Piscotty gets him in. He's now driven in 4. And that's what you do, especially you got to see the aggressiveness of Matt Williams on a play like that. Take the chance with Mike Trout in center.
So 2 runs in for the A's and an early 3-0 lead as Boog Powell steps in.
Guys, another perk about my perch down here. High-fiving Lucroy as he scores, coming on through the dugout.
Hey, babe.
Yep.
So 1-2 to Boog Powell. Powell 2 hits in 20 at-bats. Taps this one. Simmons got a glove on it, and he was not going to throw out Powell anyway. So Boog Powell with an infield hit.
You guys don't believe me. I got a feeling like you don't believe me.
Yeah, I don't think you did. I just
told you
I was wrong. I should never doubt Dallas Braden.
I cannot tell a lie.
He signed my perfect game scorecard, so I can never doubt you.
I'm here for you, babe.
Hey, Dallas, can I have your autograph? Here's Joyce, the leadoff man, who grounded out in the first.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of it. You know, I understand we got games to play. He's involving me. I'm more than happy to be here for the boys, no doubt.
Plus, you don't want Socia to see it.
Yeah, fraternizing, can't have that.
We get you kicked out of there. 2-0 now to Joyce. So 4 hits in the game for the A's and 3 runs.
And this is what we wanted to see from the Oakland lineup. Patience, understanding that Bridwell's had a tough time finding the zone. Again, we talked about the averages, 2-0, 429. Gotta like your odds.
Belted, right field, and that baby's gone. 5-0, the A's lead.
Well, he just wants to be consistent, giving up a couple of home runs a game, and it's just the second inning. There's your 2-0 count, Dallas, and fastball. Little surprise that Maldonado, the catcher, would say just challenge him, and he challenged him. And Matt Joyce, his first. And Maldonado, you can see the look on his face, or actually the way he reacted after the pitch was hit. Maybe bad location, but home run regardless over the yellow line up in the seats. Both home runs have been there. And the A's taking advantage of some mistakes. One by a catcher on a pass ball, the other on a fastball center cut.
So first home run for Joyce on the season. Lowrie hit his first last inning. Projected home run distance, 404 feet.
thing that Bridwell's doing too, is pitching from behind. You can't afford to do that. He is doing it unless you have, and you know, surprisingly, sometimes the cut fastball is not one a right-hander likes to throw to a lefty. But I'd rather see that at a four-seam fastball down the middle, which is what he did with he hung a curveball to Jed Lowrie, but the fastball that Matt Joyce hit.
That one's hit high and deep left center field. And that baby's gone. A's are teeing off at 6-0.
Maybe all the A's hitters want to get their first home run.
Well, you talked about it, Foss, pitching from behind. You have got to get yourself back in the count. The best way to do that is with the straight one, but not against the swinging A's, and not tonight. Simien, we know about his power prowess at the plate. You make a mistake, he's going to make you pay. A la Deposit Souvenir City. You're welcome.
Well, first time this year, back-to-back home runs, and the A's swinging the bat. And Charles Nagy a visit with his pitcher, but really pitching from behind all game. Actually had Olsen 0-2. Ended up getting him to ground out.
Noe Ramirez starts to throw out in the bullpen. Lowrie cues one up the third base line. He's got a chance for an infield hit, and he's going to get it. The ball is thrown away. But doing a nice job of backing up is Zach Kozar, and it'll be a hit for Lowrie.
Well, you hit a home run on a hanging breaking ball. Next at bat, you get a cue shot and run fast. Valbuena playing a little bit off the line, but there's your smart second baseman. And really here you can do that and save an extra base. The Coliseum, the foul territory, that's a little bit tougher.
Speaking of tough.
Yeah, if he never sees the green and gold again, it'll be too soon.
Yeah.
Chris Davis steps in. Davis is the 9th place hitter. Maldonado's going to go to the mound.
This is going to be 3. Nagy went out. If they count Maldonado's early work, this is 3. We're in the second inning.
This will be interesting because if you understand Mike Scioscia and the way he likes to manage the game, at times can be accused of micromanaging, but nonetheless understands that every move, every matchup is important. And when you take away his ability to communicate with the catcher to the pitcher, or himself to the pitcher, or even Charles Nagy to the pitcher, it can really hamstring a team. As you said, Foss, here in the second inning, half of your visits gone.
And a correction, it was Chris Davis and Matt Olson going back-to-back on the Thursday afternoon against the Angels. So the second time this year back-to-back for the Athletics. But yeah, if the umpire, have we found their mound visits remaining here?
No, I was just looking for it.
I mean, they have a new scoreboard in right field. That's huge, beautiful. If we had some help with John Reynolds, maybe JR could tell us where to look, but I don't know that he's.
Quick throw, and Lowrie's back.
Mike Scioscia, yeah, he was going to have his pitcher throw to first forever so he could bring in another pitcher. I think he's seen enough. First.
Well, if that's the case, why don't you just have your pitcher throw to first without a catcher's visit?
It's great. I agree.
Right? So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Noé Ramirez, who comes in earlier than he probably anticipated. That's a base hit to left field by Chris Davis. So quite an inning by the Athletics.
You know, Kite, the one thing, this is just the second inning. We've seen too many times the Angels have come back, so you just have to keep pounding on.
Well, we talked about these guys from the bullpen trying to come in, spinning, breaking balls early to steal strikes. KD's having none of that. Sees that 76-mile-an-hour mixer over the heart of the plate, takes advantage.
The A's have 7 hits in this inning.
And batting around. Okay, there they are. Mound visits remaining.
Right underneath you guys. I got you covered.
See,
well, that's it, because we couldn't see. We're looking outside, and Juan Dorado's up here, pointed out and said it's right below you. Thank you, Delaire. And
so they
Tommy
counted that Maldonado visit where it was a cross-up. And I don't think that's a good job by the umpires.
I agree.
Maldonado just went out there, and Nagy went out there, so that's the 3 right there.
Right. And if Maldonado went out, and obviously it was a cross-up, and I can't understand why the umpire, who is Brian Knight tonight, the home plate umpire, would see that it's a cross-up. I mean, this is a veteran Gold Glove catcher. And you just don't miss one down the middle of the plate without it being a cross-up. And the plan is to be able to go out and correct it. There's a record for Ramirez. His pitch against the Athletics at the Coliseum, where the A's had the extra inning game on opening day at home. This would be considered a long reliever coming into the second inning.
Well, Olsen strikes out, side retired, and the A's do big-time damage as they score 5 runs on 7 hits here in the top of the second inning. Long ball working tonight for the Athletics. Bottom of the second, coming up 6-0. The A's lead. Nothing. Home runs for Lowrie, Joyce, and Simien here in the ball game so far. So the A's coming out swinging. Angels in their dugout, they're saying we got a lot of time yet.
Well, that's the problem. They have 8 at-bats remaining. This is the second, and that's why it's important for the A's to add on, but also for Ramirez of the Angels and the rest of the bullpen to try to keep the A's from scoring. The thing is, regardless of the numbers of the Angels' success when Bridwell has pitched, bottom line, this is an Angels team, the veterans on the team, and I'm sure you've got Trout, you've got Pujols, up to some of the guys in there talking about it's early.
Pick away.
That's right.
And one thing you want to see out of Daniel Gossett as a pitcher with this big of a lead this early, and a guy who struggled to command the fastball last time around, this is a great opportunity to move that thing around.
just did.
Maybe move some feet, Foss. You never know.
Yeah.
Get these guys uncomfortable at the plate.
Wow.
And continue to attack.
It's amazing. Kozar gets hit with a curveball, and here's one head high at the head, over the head of Simmons, and that's scary. Fortunately, he got out of the way of it. And we're seeing more and more, and talking to Chad Pinder last night, he's wearing that protection over his face. I said, you haven't been hit, have you? He says, no, but I have too many up too close to my head, so I want to have some protection. And you're seeing more players doing that with the extension on the ear flap and continuing over the face.
Lowrie has it, and Simmons is retired.
See where that fastball was in that swing? That's after a dust. Fastball outside, that's kind of a half swing by Simmons, and you know, probably unintentional with the fastball inside, but you look at the success he had with the heater outside, and you get that kind of a swing following one that goes down, you figure, let's do that more, which sometimes I'm shocked they don't.
Absolutely, Foss. Never a proponent of throwing around the head ever,
No,
but
no.
that does not mean you cannot pitch up, and that
That's
does
right.
not mean you can't move guys' feet.
That's right.
So you find that happy medium to establish your ability to get outs away. Otherwise, these hitters, as good as they are,
Oh, yeah.
they eliminate one side of the plate, and it can become a long night very quickly.
That's why a lot of times you'll see when a pitch is thrown inside, not even close to the hitter, they'll jump out of the way and look at the pitcher. But bottom line, it means they're looking middle plate away. They're not wanting the pitch inside, and even if it's close, it makes it seem, because of the way they approach the ball, that it's closer than it actually is.
2-1 to Luis Valbuena. Ohtani waits in the on-deck circle.
And it might not necessarily be the case for each individual who wears that C-flap or that C-guard, but for me, it's like a poker player giving you a tell. It's something that is definitely on their mind, and if you can use that to your effect, if you can use that to your advantage, why not? Pitch in, move some feet, get them out away.
Tell you though, when Chris Iannetta was hit last year in the face, that was scary.
Scary, very scary.
Oh, gosh. And I think right after that is when Correa, there's one other with the Angels, or the Astros, started wearing that protection.
Shallow left field. It's going to be Joyce who calls up Simien to make the catch. 2 away here in the second, and here comes Shohei Ohtani. So a very nice round of applause for Ohtani. Big crowd tonight. Not a sellout, but a few open seats up in the upper deck. But
They'll draw their 3 million. That will be a given. If, of course, that's without Ohtani. There's Bubba Harkins, who is the visiting clubhouse manager. He said, I think he said Irvine, Dallas, maybe you know the area down here where there's a heavily populated that would want to see Ohtani.
Yes.
But if that's the case, and this young man has done well, and of course this is tonight as a DH, and if expected the way they're planning, then he will take tomorrow off and pitch on Sunday. And he's been impressive. We saw him in Oakland. He was very impressive pitching.
And that one is belted. Center field. Oh. Well, that was a big boy home run for
Yes, it
Shohei
was.
Ohtani. Wow, up into the rocks.
Well, and again, you go back to spring training where he could not do anything, pitching or hitting. And he's been spectacular in the first, 7, 8 games now for the Angels. And not playing every day.
So that is his 3rd home run of the year, and well, this was a long one.
Well, back to the point of pitching behind. It's 2-0, and here's a fastball, 6-run lead. Let's just challenge him. Well, he beat the challenge.
And you know what? He lit up the crowd.
Yes, he did.
So 6-1. Ohtani now 7 hits in 15 at-bats and 3 home runs.
Well, as we said, see Trout came up, and of course the high five. But the one thing about signing Ohtani, as we talked about in Oakland, is how it was done a lot for Mike Trout, who's due to be a free agent in a couple years. And if they have success, which they have not had since Trout's been with the ball club, postseason one time they lost 3 in a row. And that's a big change if they can have success with him.
Maldonado strikes out. Ohtani homers for the 3rd straight game. It's 6-1 after 2. Run for the Angels.
You know what Mark Gubazar just said next to us? He said he threw his side session today in the bullpen.
So we got a bullpen and then this.
See, that's Ichiro with power. That's pretty impressive.
Yep.
What'd you say, 4 what?
Watch where it lands. Watch the rocks.
Somewhere around 450 feet away from home plate, Foss. You mentioned the swing. You mentioned the early vacation. It looks like something we see a lot in the Japanese-born players. But with the height and the leverage he's able to create and the length of his limbs, that is a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
A lot of juice coming from Ohtani.
It was he 6'4"?
Yeah, he's
6'4", 220, 230, somewhere around there.
And remember, he's a rookie.
Yeah, he's 24 years old. He's got a chance to get a little bit bigger.
But you think about this as a rookie, he could win Rookie Pitcher of the Year and Rookie Player of the Year the same year.
Sure.
Especially if he pitches like he did against the A's last Sunday. It's very impressive. A's just need to add on. They cannot be satisfied with 6.
2-2 the count to Chapman. Chapman, Lucroy, Piscotty. This is the group that got that second inning going when the A's scored 5 times. To the backstop, count remains 2-2. Matt Chapman back home. I said, man, how many tickets you leaving per game? He said, about 25, and I had to say no a lot.
Well, he should have said no after 6. Or maybe after Jim Elise's parents and maybe his sister, his girlfriend, but you gotta learn to say no.
Yeah, I can remember my rookie year. Obviously, I made my appearance, my debut on the road, Camden Yards. We come back home.
I remember your hair.
And I remember sitting at lunch with Mark Ellis, and he asked me, how many guys you got coming? How many people? And I said, somewhere around 152. And he about spit out his drink on me.
Trout going back. Trout near the wall. Trout's going to have enough room, and he makes the catch.
He told me, Dallas, you're going to have to pay to play next week if you get 200 people here.
That's right.
So I, too, quickly had to find out what no meant and tell people, sorry, not today.
Well, I guess the days of going to other players
Right,
and saying,
that's
"Hey,
a-
can I use your
yeah.
tickets?" That's not the way it works anymore.
They're comped, but there's tax. You know, I mean, it's totally different now than it used to be. Because if you went into, let's say, Chapman here, you go to 4 or 5 players using your tickets. No, there's 20, 25, and
Sure.
you put the names down. But now you have to put it down by code, and changes everything. So that's why.
So you didn't know tickets could become income, huh?
Yeah, didn't know that.
That's right.
Things you learn as you work.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you get that first check and you look at tickets and you say minus in your take home.
1-1 the count to Lucroy. Lucroy had a big double in the second inning. Put runners at second and third.
And you've got to be impressed with Luke and the way he's really started to come on the last 3 games or so. Balls are getting hit hard. He's finding holes. He's going the other way. Think about the abbreviated or non-existent spring training, really.
Well, it would be nice if Jonathan Lucroy can just be respectable with his batting average, because that will enable him to catch, as he says, the primary catcher. And again, nothing against Bruce Maxwell. Did a very good job with Sean Manaea at the Coliseum. But Bob Melvin, as they signed Jonathan Lucroy, he was going to be the primary catcher, not necessarily a platoon situation. That's
Rolls over on that one.
That's the beauty of being a free agent. And even though he turned down 3 with the Rockies, ends up signing with the A's. And I tell you, the Rockies lost the A's plus, because he has been a great plus to this pitching staff, and also to Bruce Maxwell, who's been very quick to learn from him as his mentor.
And now it's 2-2. Lucroy had some seasons in Milwaukee where he was one of the better offensive catchers in all of baseball.
Well,
and it wasn't because Miller Park's a hitter's park, which it very, very much is.
Okay, we finally got a chance to go to Miller Park, and that's when we saw him excel, and he's a very good catcher.
A soft line drive into the glove of Kozar. So 2 away here in the third, and that'll bring up Piscotty, who had a sacrifice fly in the second. Piscotty picked up his 4th RBI of the year.
And again, Mike Socha and Charles Nagy, manager and pitching coach, are looking for Ramirez to do one thing: to eat some innings. It's the most important thing. Keep the A's from scoring any more, giving his club a chance to come back. As I think they know, with the history of their success when Bridwell has taken them out. I'm surprised Bridwell, when he got the call that he's coming to big league, say, "I'm not coming." I have to face the A's. I'm not going to show up. Nobody will ever turn down the big leagues, and Bridwell was not with the team in Oakland, so he avoided having to face them there.
The Angels are Shoemaker on the disabled list, Andrew Heaney on the disabled list. They're hoping to get him back soon. So that is really why Bridwell is here, even though he had a pretty good year last year. They're dealing with a few injuries in that rotation again to start this season.
Charles Nagy is the pitching coach. You saw that shot. Mike Socha is the manager, and I think we know who calls the shots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because while they may be looking, Mike's got the lineup card. He's got the pitchers that the A's have, the hitters that he has, and he's already thinking about this game and the total of the game with that group down there. And let's not forget that he once started all relievers, pitched all relievers in a game and beat the A's.
Ramirez has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the third coming up. It'll be Kozar, Trout, and Upton. 6-1 the A's lead. get a win tonight. Here at the Big A in Anaheim, 6-1, the A's lead. A's with 1 in the first 5 in the second. Angels with 1 in the second on the Ohtani home run. So, good start to the ball game for the Athletics. Daniel Gossett.
And what Daniel Gossett also has to do is not think about 5 and fly. You know, with the lead, turn on bullpen. He needs to go deep in the game, get a 5-run lead, damage control.
And now it's 3-0. Cozart was hit by a pitch in the first inning. That one eased in there for a strike at 93 miles an hour.
Well, the A's also have the former Angel, Miro Petit, and Blake Wood, the right-hander. So Mike Scioscia looking at his lineup card and maybe doing some matchup based on those guys.
Chapman has it. Chapman across the diamond, and Cozart is retired. Ball took a little bit of a tricky hop right at the end, came up a little bit.
Yeah, I tell you what, from where I'm sitting, guys, you got a great look in here. This ball does jump up. I'm pretty much field level, eye level, and that thing, Matt Chapman, as you can see in the replay, was ready to range and stay down on this ball. It popped up. Does a good job of keeping his balance, gathering himself, and obviously we know about that strong throwing arm.
I like on the other end with Matt Olson, it's just like he's playing catch with him. I mean, he just very casually makes the play and throws the ball around the infield. But the defense, and much better the last 3 games against the Texas Rangers.
Trout hits one very high to right field. Piscotty's going to have enough room. And that's the second out. So Trout has hit a couple balls to right field in this game. And Upton steps up. Upton struck out in the first inning.
Received the Silver Slugger Award tonight. Justin Upton did.
Well deserved.
Well, you'd have to say, I'm talking to Ian Kinsler. He's due back on Tuesday, the 10-day disabled list. He said it's just perfect because that's all the time he's going to need. But let's not forget that Kinsler and Upton were both with the Tigers. It's a little bit nippy, and it's a little colder in Detroit, I think it is, than here in Anaheim. Starting on the West Coast, they played the A's for 4. And the Indians in town. And now the A's. So these guys on the West Coast with this beautiful weather, 65 degrees at first pitch.
Well, Upton had a great year last year. 125 games with the Tigers, 27 games with the Angels. He had 35 home runs, knocked in 109 runs, and had 44 doubles. He had 79 extra base hits. And if you're wondering whether that's a lot, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, anything over 60 extra base hits for a player in one season is a lot. He had 79.
I think Albert Bell one time had 100.
Yeah, and he had 50 and 50.
Yeah. Sam Musial did it. Not many have done it. But, you know, you have to wonder how much money was spent on telephone calls between B.J. Upton and Justin Upton. Because B.J. signed a big contract with the Braves after Tampa Bay. And he's done nothing. But Justin Upton has done just about everything.
Okay, so and Justin Upton is only 30 years old. He's been around for a long, long time. This is his 11th year. He's a very, very good player. Started with the Diamondbacks, then Atlanta, San Diego, Detroit. How about that? 25 homers and 25 doubles in a season. Upton's done it 6 times.
That's another guy, top of the list.
Not that time as Gossett strikes him out, so that's a very good inning for Daniel Gossett. He gets the top of the Angels order.
shows tickets to 8 games. Packages include great matchups like the Giants, the Dodgers, Yankees, and others. Each pack comes with a 50% off parking pass option and a free etched 50th anniversary commemorative glass. Visit athletics.com/50pack. That's athletics.com/50pack. That's a good deal, especially those teams. Looks like a good deal too. Nachos.
6-1 A's lead, top of the 4th. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Blake Wood comes in. So big right-hander. Wood off to a good start. Has not allowed a run in 5 appearances this year for the Angels. And he saw him a couple times in that opening 4-game series. Noe Ramirez an inning and a third of shutout baseball. So it'll be Powell, Joyce, and Simien. And that's a base hit. So Boog Powell's 2 for 2. And a single then scored in the 2nd inning.
Guys, I was down around the cage early when the boys were hitting, and this is Boog Powell. The last 2 rounds of his cage work were just like this. Staying inside the ball, filet-o-fish to the left side of the diamond. This is what Boog does well. And don't be afraid. 2-0, 3-1. Boog's not afraid to spin on you. He'll finish high. Don't worry. But that right there is his game, and just a great look at a guy who can get barrel to ball. Great job by Boog Powell.
So a couple of hits for Powell, and the A's with 9 hits now. And Powell's got good speed. Angels slide the infielders over for Matt Joyce.
Well, for Boog Powell, he knows and should know that with his speed is like a second leadoff hitter hitting 9th, but also realizes coming into this game hitting a .109, and that's it. So getting some hits early in the season when you don't have a lot of at-bats to get the respectable batting average, but also do the things that you're supposed to do. Play center field solidly, get on base. It's kind of set a table, especially
get off the interstate. Get off the interstate.
That's right. That's Matt Joyce. He can get off the snide on the home run total. Career best last year, and tonight is his first, and perhaps the lower part of his body healthy, as he has been banged up a little bit between the knee and the ankle.
Joyce swings over top. It's really one of the great baseball lines. Get off the interstate.
That's right.
So if you're hitting in the 100s, well, obviously, starts with a 1.
Hey,
which looks like an I.
But you know what's worse than that is bingo.
It's like the
61.
Yeah. You want to get off the bingo sheet. You want to get
bingo
off
and
the
off
freeway,
the interstate. That's right. And the Mendoza line.
Get off the I-80.
That's right. But
and then you want to get so you want to get off the I-80. You want to get above the Mendoza line.
But you know what I would like to see more than anything? The first month of a season, do not put up 1 batting average. Don't do anything. You know, let the guys get settled in without having to look at the board and you know, go 0 for 15, but go, oh, here's 1 hit, now I'm 1 for 16. That's going to be your bingo number.
Yep.
So, no, it's all the information on the board, scoreboards, is just really too much.
And on the flip side, as a pitcher, especially a reliever, you have a rough go early on. You're looking up at a mathematical equation.
Yeah.
That's the big new scoreboard out in right field. In fact, both scoreboards are brand new. They got a big one in right field and a big one in left field, and they look terrific. Nicely done. Boog Powell's going to be picked off. Simmons hustling him back. He flips to the pitcher, and Wood puts the tag on Powell. Powell's out. So it goes as a caught stealing.
He was going, and you've got to worry about the second look, and it did. But, you know, right there, one thing Maldonado did not do is tell his pitcher to get out of the way. You never want a pitcher to get involved. As a catcher, you can put your knees down and block him off right there. But see, Wood kind of catching the ball and reaching down, tagging. Bottom line, Boog Powell, if he was running in 3 and 2, especially if you're running, you're not running to try to steal. You try to stay out of a double play.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. So Matt Joyce strikes out after homering in the second inning.
Well, you mentioned it, boss. 3-2. Runner on first, looking to stay out of that roll-up, stay out of that two-piece. Might change the pitch selection for the pitcher. Nobody on first anymore. A little more confidence to bounce that breaker.
Last year, the Angels had a player, can't remember exactly who it was, but did exactly what Boog Powell did and Mike Scioscia, as the same look from Bob Melvin. While on the outside, they're calm, but inside they're burning. Because 3-2 is totally different than with a hit and run or steal. Trying to get a good jump, and it's always the rule of thumb on 3-2, you're going, it's only after the pitcher throws the ball.
Simien homered in the second. He and Joyce went back to back. That was off the starter Parker Bridwell. Tapped right at the plate.
Talk about going back to back. We'll go back to the second inning. Take a look at that ball that Simien hit. Starts to creep inside. And we talked about his ability to hit for power, the healthy wrist this year. You got to expect and you got to hope we're going to see more of those at-bats coming from Marcus Simien.
Trout hustling over into left center. He was shaded over toward right center, but he has plenty of time to track it down. Nothing for the A's in the fourth. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Stadium should be vacant. We are at the Big A in Anaheim. Angel Stadium of Anaheim is the official name. We like to call it the Big A. It brings us back to our youth and when Ray Fosse was ripping line drives all around this ballpark. The Big A.
Now it's Rock Pile.
But it's a very nice ballpark. It's been here a long time. Opened in 1966, and they've made significant changes to it a couple times, but it's held its own, and it's a pretty nice place.
For me, it's the hats. It's the hats.
The big hats?
That lets me know I'm in Anaheim. You know, I used to, you get dropped off, or you walk to the yard, because it's a little bit of a hike, but if you've got a nice cool afternoon, and you know you see those big red hats, you're here.
Yeah, the big red hats are out front, the main entrance of this ballpark, and they're really big hats. I mean, they're really. Cam Bedrosian warming up.
I see those big hats. I think of Kevin mentioned Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, when you're wearing a hat bigger than a size 8, you're doing something.
So full count to Pujols. Calhoun will follow, and then Simmons.
It is.
That is one of the big hats right out in front of the stadium.
That's the destination. I say, where you want to meet, Big Hat?
That's right. Drop us off the big hats.
Yeah.
3-2 pitch. Bounced in the hole. Chapman dives, can't get it. Simien dives, can't get it. And Albert Pujols has a base hit.
And the countdown. They have an action figurine giveaway tonight that has the countdown to 3,000.
He's getting there.
2,976 as this ball beat into the ground, passed, and that's, you know, the top spin for Albert. You see where the fielders are playing on the left side. Actually over 6.5 hole, but 5.5 hole, 6.5, 5, and it's in between short and third.
So 24 away. When he gets there, he'll be the 32nd player to have 3,000 hits in his career. He's going to shoot right past that and keep rolling.
His contract remaining, absolutely. I think the numbers you put out when we were at the Coliseum talking about him and
Telling you.
how many years he has remaining.
If he stays healthy through the end of his contract, he's going to be in the neighborhood of the all-time home run record, and he's going to be in the neighborhood of the all-time RBI record.
Right.
Hank Aaron with 2,297 RBIs. Unbelievable. Pujols right now with his 3 this year, he has 1,921 RBIs. So he's 377 RBIs away from the record. Full shift on for Calhoun. At least in the infield. Fouled right at the plate.
I'd like to see this out of Daniel Gossett. Struggled early to work ahead, to finish the hitter. Here 0-2. Just some rough numbers here. Win ahead. Hitters hitting 200 or less. So very, very important for Gossett to continue to find himself in these positions, in these counts.
Base hit. Easy stuff there for Calhoun. Pitch was running away from him a little bit. There was nobody over there. And he just hit a hard ground ball into left field.
Well, we've seen him do this too often, and you know, there's your shift. You can say, well, it's just a single, but it also puts runners at first and second. And you know, he's throughout his career, we've seen him a lot. He's done this a lot too. He's gone opposite field. That's why I say the pitch outside, he'll take it the opposite field. You try to bust him inside. If it doesn't get all the way in, he'll pull it. And at times we've seen him go on the seats.
Just watching that swing, and we've seen Calhoun a lot over the years, but just watching that swing, it really looked like he was trying to do that.
Absolutely. He's waiting. He's letting the ball travel, and by doing so, especially with the pitch outside. Yeah,
Simmons.
I think more hitters realize that.
And that one is ripped. Left field, that could be trouble, and it is. It bounces up into the seats.
Save the run.
So Pujols will score. Calhoun is going to have to stop at third, and now it's 6-2, and the Angels are making some noise.
Well, you're not dealing with a team that's just going to cave in when they get behind, and that's why the Calhoun base hit to left field with the shift. And now all of a sudden it's second and third, nobody out. And I don't think Bob Melvin's going to wait long.
Well, now the Angels are one hit away from really being right back in the game.
Matter of fact, he's going to wait long enough for Petit to get loose. That's his long man, former Angel. Gossett came out of the game early in Oakland. Defense wasn't that great, but tonight, especially in this inning, this is all Angels.
Breaking ball is down.
Valbuena was upset when he flew out to left field in his first at bat. But now, if there's ever a time to roll over, this is it, because I don't know with the runner at third if they would play the infield in. Right now, they're playing back, but a Valbuena ground ball to the right side would play to run, plus move a runner over to third base. This is a dangerous shift also, because you don't want to throw the breaking ball in. That helps him pull the ball. You throw a fastball away, he may shoot it to the vacated shortstop spot into left field.
Off the glove of Simien, rolls into shallow center field. 1 run scores, 2nd run scores. Valbuena to second, and it's 6-4. So a very hard hit ball and went off the glove of Marcus Simien.
Well, Valbuena gets that heater down and away. And boss, you talked about pitching to the shift, if you will. He gets that heater down and away, takes it right back up the middle. Simien in position. This thing takes a wicked hard hop back up the middle. Simien unable to corral it. And Simmons doing a great job of base running, busting all the way around. Dino Evil does not slow him down one bit at third base, and he's able to come around and score.
So Valbuena now at second. So it's a base hit and 2 RBIs. Second on the throw. And here's Ohtani. Ohtani down the left field line. Slicing foul.
Well, this got the crowd liven quite a bit with Ohtani, a 2-0 fastball away. With that kind of power, no reason to try to pull the ball. 429 feet was the projected distance, and that got the Angels on the board. And right now, you're trying to stay away from that same shot because that would tie it. And you pitch him away, I think he's proven that his power is to all fields. It's not just trying to pull the ball. The home runs we showed in our open were more to center field, and home run tonight to left center.
That one in the dirt. So Ohtani skips out of the way a little bit. 1-1 the count. So 4 consecutive hits. And Valbuena's ball was hit very hard, but probably a play Marcus should have made, even though it was awarded a hit. Maldonado to follow. Good breaking ball. Just catches the outside corner.
We talked about it 1-1. We need to get into that count and need to win that conversion count. He does so with that backdoor breaking ball. Like to see him bounce this, expand the zone against Ohtani.
And he went with the breaking ball again. Ohtani a little bit off balance with that swing. Ohtani, the 8th place hitter.
Not a bad 8th place hitter, huh?
Crowd chanting his name. And that one's hit in the air to shallow center. A broken bat. The head of the bat rolled all the way out to Lowrie at second base.
And Bob Melvin's going to Petit. Trying to preserve this 2-run lead. That's a big at bat, big out to get without advancing Valbuena to third base. And Bob Melvin is going to the bullpen.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and brake experts. That was opening day.
Beautiful
Remember
day,
that
wasn't
game?
it?
6-5 A's victory. Daniel Gossett goes 3 1/3 tonight. He was rolling along through the first 3 innings, but things caught up with him here in the 4th.
Well, it
Ends
just
up throwing 70 pitches.
be nice to see that 4 stay a 4. And then the bullpen started with Petit to try to shut down the Angels, although they realize it's just the 4th inning, but they also know this young man, Yusmeiro Petit, a former Angel, and pitched a lot of games, a lot of innings.
First pitch to Maldonado toward left field, and that's a base hit. So Valbuena will come in to score. Throw goes into second base, and Maldonado, on the first pitch he sees from his former teammate, has an RBI single, and now it's 6-5.
Well, how many times do you see a pitcher come out of the bullpen and throw a fastball, and Maldonado all over it? This fastball center cut, about belt high, thigh high, and anybody else it might have been a double, but with Maldonado, who is not blessed with a lot of speed, so it is a 5 for the earned runs for Daniel Gossett, and it's now a 1-run game just in the 4th inning.
And now the top of the order, Kozart. Bunted. Petit grabs it. Quick throw, and they just skid him. It's a nice play by the pitcher.
Well, it's a good job by Petit to bounce off the mound, almost anticipating this here. You see he's going to finish over to the first base side as a righty. But nonetheless, a good job of gathering himself, getting over, make a play. Take a look here at the fundamentals. He's not going to let this thing stop. He doesn't have the time, so what's he do? He turns that bare hand over, lets it turn into a glove. No need to try to stab at the baseball if it's moving, if you don't have time. So a good job by Petit fundamentally to gather himself and make that play.
And that is not a sacrifice.
No.
Although we have seen at times where, he bunted and sacrificed. No, it's not. He's bunting for a base hit. It's pretty obvious. First of all, with 1 out, he's not a pitcher. And number 2, he squared around to try to drag the ball past and down the third baseline. Does put a runner in score position.
And it put Mike Trout in the batter's box. Trout is the 8th man to bat in this inning for the Angels, and they have scored 4 times. Trout takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike.
Okay. Kozart might have done that, knowing that Trout's in the on-deck circle. Bunting for a base hit, don't accomplish it, at least to put a runner in score position where Mike Trout has a shot to tie the game.
Yeah, and if you beat it out, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And if they walk Trout, well, then you got 2 on for Upton. So really,
That's
not a bad idea by Kozart. Most of the outcome scenarios are still okay. Trout hits it very high and foul, headed for the upper deck. Not quite into the middle deck.
And let's not forget either, we really never like to see a hitter bunt with a runner in score position already. But in the case of Maldonado at first, Kozart's bunt, well, he was trying for a base hit, but he did accomplish something. But Ed Munson, the veteran score, official score, did not grant him a sacrifice, which it was not and should not have been.
Trout went around on a pitch that's in the dirt. Lucroy's going to have to hurry. He does. Side retired. So damage done by the Angels. They get themselves back in the game by scoring 4 times. 5th inning coming up. It's now 6-5 A's.
grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Xfinity, X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change tune at the brake experts. Pitcher number 4 tonight for the Angels, it's Cam Bedrosian. Bedrosian pitched in 3 of the 4 games against the A's last weekend. So overall, his 5th appearance, he'll face Lowrie, Davis, and Olsen. Lowrie a home run and a single, so good ball game so far for the A's second baseman.
I think managers like challenges, and in the case of really both managers going to the bullpen early. Socha earlier than Bob Melvin, but neither pitcher going the distance to be able to qualify for a win. Even Daniel Gossett now didn't go the required number of innings, so Bob Melvin trying to get a win, and when you put 6 runs on the board, an offense that he feels is going to be productive throughout the season, and they do it tonight, he's fighting to try to win this game. And on the other hand, Socha trying to match it.
This is the home run by Lowrie in the first. I think he saw the breaking ball pretty well. 1-2 pitch, down and in.
Ross, you mentioned the utilization of the bullpens by both managers this early in the game. Not quite the same feel as a National League game, having to strategize potential double switches down the road this early with pitchers being taken out of the game, but nonetheless, a battle of wits trying to make matchups matter and count as you move forward throughout the game.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Lowrie disagrees. Let's see where the pitch was.
Well, a lot of curveballs that Jed Lowrie did a good job of taking, but here comes the 2-2 fastball. Lower part of the strike zone. The low strike was called first pitch to Jed Lowrie, and Brian Knight consistently calling the pitch down low. Jed didn't like it, but it was about as perfect a pitch as it could be.
So 2 outs, or 1 out, excuse me. You see the article on Mike Trout today in the Orange County Register?
Jeff Fletcher, formerly up in the Bay Area.
I thought it was one of the more interesting articles that I've read. Dallas, I know you took a look at it, and it had to do with how defensive metrics rate Mike Trout as an average to maybe slightly below average center fielder, which is kind of amazing to all of us who see him a lot.
Yeah, when you think about it, what it's taking into account, what it's factoring in, the UZR, like I mentioned a couple days ago, ultimate zone rating,
yep,
and the DRS, defensive runs saved, what they're measuring is the starting point or the average starting point for a fielder. They're not taking into account where Mike Trout specifically or player X specifically actually starts from.
Well, what I found to be interesting, and we talked a lot about it, all of us last weekend with Trout at the Coliseum, is his average starting spot. So that's where he is right now, is 333 feet from home plate on average this year. That's the deepest of any center fielder in the major leagues. Quite frankly, I'm not surprised by that because we talked about how deep he does play. Compared to last year for Trout, he averaged 324 feet from home plate. So he, on average this year compared to last year, is playing 9 feet deeper. And I guess the point of the article, or one of the points, was that the fact that he plays deeper hurts him in these defensive metric calculations. But I thought it was a fascinating article. I'm not saying I agreed with it all, but
right, and there's a couple things at play there. One, understanding Mike Trout feels he does a better job and is more efficient when coming in on the baseball as opposed to going back on the baseball. Number 2, Dino Ebel, the third base coach, let you know in that article that there is a real effort to keep Mike Trout healthy.
Thank you.
And when he's able to, when he's running full speed, heading back into the wall, This guy right here, how valuable he is to them at the plate. Do you want him banged up going after a fly ball into the gap, or do you want him healthy at the dish? And I think the answer overall is we'd like him healthy at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, he just basically said, I'm more comfortable coming in on a ball than I am going back. That's why I play deep.
And that's good because most or some outfielders can't go back. And they break back on balls and they play deep and they still don't go back well.
See what he does here. He's going to have to go into right center field and run a long way, and it's going to be Calhoun who makes the catch for the second out.
But
so
you know,
Trout that time ran a long way.
I think one of the things in that article that was brought up, and it's happened because of all those initials that Dallas talked about, explained. There's the distance, and he was basically backing up Calhoun, and that's what he does such a good job. But the eyeball test. I mean, they're taken away from people actually watching a player because they're putting the analytics, all to how far you travel, And to me, if you're a good outfielder, and let's say there are 3 good outfielders, and there happen to all be center fielders, only one's going to win the Gold Glove.
Yeah, and that was the point too. Is that he hasn't won a Gold Glove, and he may not, but. Doesn't mean he's not a great center fielder, because he is.
And it should never take away from his overall play. And what Dino Ebel said, and I agree with him, you'd rather have him swinging the bat than running into a fence.
Yes.
Because you can be a hero. There's Dino, the third base coach, outfield coach. Alfredo Griffin, longtime first base coach, handles the infielders.
But what I thought was, that one is lined to left center field, and that's a base hit. Upton's got to hustle over there to cut it off. He does. He spins and gets it back. But what I thought was one of the cool parts of the story is Mike Trout felt like one of the areas where he needed to get better at was his first step. And so what he does now is he goes out to center field during batting practice when the other guys on his team are taking batting practice, or other groups. He is in center field shagging, and he's working on his first step.
Right. Just watching the ball off the bat.
Yeah, and that's the one area where he felt like he could get better jumps on the ball.
Listen, if that's all he's bad at, let him just do it, because I still say he covers a lot of ground in the outfield, and for them to say that basically what he's doing is put a negative thought in his mind, because now he wants to be a better defender defensively, and who knows, it might affect his offense, might affect his overall game, because he wants to be great at all aspects. And I tell you, if that's his only negative, take him in a heartbeat.
Yep. You know how many times Mike Trout dove for a ball last year?
I hope none.
Once. And that's not a criticism, because quite frankly, Dallas, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think sometimes outfielders diving for balls, it's not necessary.
You're asking the wrong guy, Kipe. I'm the guy on the mound. I'm going to need you to lay out.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't have to lay out.
But no, absolutely. And one thing to take note of, Mike Trout diving 0 times, 0 Gold Gloves. One thing you think about, the Gold Glove winner, Byron Buxton, laid out 14 different times.
Yeah.
So while there might not be something to laying out and making a diving play, obviously the game situation, for me, dictates what sort of sellout you are actually going to make, whether you're diving for a ball, trying to cut a ball off. Those are things to factor in. But when you think about being in position like Mike Trout finds himself, to your guys' point, the athleticism and diving might not be something that's totally necessary.
Yeah.
Well, all I can see is an outfielder diving for a ball and rolling on his hand, and there it goes to something. Remember, Mike Trout did a sliding into second on an offensive play. You do it in the outfield, diving for a ball, and your thumb or your hand gets caught under, you snap your wrist. There's a lot of things that happen when you do that.
And you know what? I want the number of times Byron Buxton dives 5 years from now.
Well,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I also want to see how many times a guy dives for a ball that's about chest high or belt high, and he catches it and then dives.
That's exactly
right.
With Maldonado got dinged a little bit, so.
But don't go to the mound.
Brian Knight,
they'll check you.
Umpire's giving him a little break.
Yeah, he got it the left arm, blocking the ball. Good job of blocking. Job for a catcher. 2-2
the count to Chapman. Maldonado Toronto sets up outside. It's now full count, so that'll get Olsen moving, the big fella at first. Lucroy would love to hit in this inning. Top of the 5th. Runner goes. The ball is drilled. Center field. And that baby's gone.
Wow.
8-5 A's lead.
Those might be the 2 biggest runs the ball club has scored tonight.
Kind of a high line drive off the bat of Matt Chapman. His 3rd home run.
And Cap, how much we talked about how long he waits. He hit the ball to right field his first at bat. Bedrosian throws him a center cut fastball at 92. And look at Bedrosian. He knew it. I mean, this is a line drive, and no matter how deep Mike Trout is playing, he's not going to catch it. Listen, that is a bullet. And a no doubter. So for Matt Chapman coming home, another multi-hit game. Pretty consistent with that, and has been for the last week.
You guys, before the game, down here at the cage, hitters their last round. Bushy tells them, Darren Bush, everything you need, all you need. And what did Matt Chapman need? A homer to left center, a homer to center, a homer to right center, and he said, that'll do me.
Yeah.
Chapman is now 14 for his last 29. So a terrific start to the season for Matt Chapman, offensively and defensively. He came into the game tied with Altuve for the most hits in the major leagues, not just the American League, and he's got 2 more tonight. Chapman with 14 total hits on the year, and this is game number 9 for the A's.
You know, there was an incident at the hotel today, and I thought it was interesting. Matt Chapman showed up, and he was dressing, he's staying at home, or, you know, he lives in the area close to the park, but he wanted to change. He said, I didn't want to go to the park like this. He had a pair of Bermudas on. And that's how conscientious he is about being a leader on his club. He just didn't want to show up dressed the way he was.
I like it. So Chapman, a 2-run homer, his 3rd of the year, and indeed very important runs as the A's push their lead back to 3. 8-5 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. The A's get the 2-run homer by Matt Chapman after the Angels had stormed back to make it a 1-run game. So if you like offense, then tonight would be a game that you like. 8-5 in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, Cap, we talked about in Oakland, whenever The Angels were there. Number of runs scored with 2 outs. Tonight's 8 runs for the A's, 6 have come with 2 outs.
There you go.
So that's exactly what you need to do. And sometimes that first 2 batters make out, but that doesn't mean the inning's over. You just keep going.
And that one's going to get through for a base hit for Upton. Oh, here come the Angels.
Fans, we have the only bobblehead that honors our city in one of the most successful movies in cinematics history. Black Panther. Oakland A's and Marvel are proud to release a glow-in-the-dark Black Panther bobblehead in honor of the city of Oakland and hometown hero and director Ryan Coogler. Fans can snag this one-of-a-kind bobblehead Friday, May the 5th versus the Orioles, brought to you by Comerica Bank. You want 15,000 fans to get yours upon entering the ballpark. Visit athletics.com/promotions to grab your piece of Oakland history.
Here's Pujols, who has walked and singled, and he has scored a run. Padres slowed down the Astros today. That was a 4-1 final. Padres beat McCullers, who pitched 5 innings. So Houston, with the loss, goes to 6-2. They had won 5 in a row.
Well, as good as Houston is, they're not going to win 162.
I don't think so.
No, and nobody. I mean, you shoot for 100, you shoot for 90 actually, and try to win the division. And anything can happen in October. But they're a confident club. But it's early in the season, anything can happen. Right now, the A's trying to take advantage of this offensive outburst tonight and win a game. Start this road trip.
And that's a base hit for Pujols. They say, Ray, there's an old theory in baseball. It's true. It's like power hitters, their ground balls are faster than other players' ground balls.
Yeah.
And these balls just shoot right through the infield.
Well, that's a low 89 fastball for Albert Pujols. There's your 5.5 hole. He just hammers it, and that's been a pretty consistent hole to hit to tonight. But you know, 3 feet to the left of that, and Matt Olson catches it, or Matt Chapman catches it, throws and starts a double play, finished by Matt Olson at first. But that's a ground ball pitcher. You just need to have them hit at an infield.
So 2 on, nobody out. Here's Calhoun.
One thing Petit has been doing the last couple of games, we saw in Oakland when he had a 32 consecutive inherited runner streak. But he gave up a double, and he's just elevating a few pitches tonight.
Down and into Calhoun. Angels have 7 hits in the last 2 innings.
Well, here's a situation if Calhoun happens to hit one to left field or to the third base side. That means that Simien's going to have to be the double play turner at second, because Jed Lowrie is playing him to pull with a shift. And this is the communication that's necessary with the shifts, and for Chapman to know that Simien is going to be the one covering if he gets ground. We'll see Simien near second base. That's a shortstop. Lowrie, the second baseman, who would be normally with a ground ball on the left side, turning a double play.
Good pitch, took a little off, eased it in there on the outside corner. Ryan Knight thought it was a strike. Cole Calhoun did not think it was a strike.
If you're hitting 388 and not 188 on the internet, you don't worry about it. But that's what he is hitting now. Calhoun. It's after the single in his last at bat.
Hit toward right. Piscotty goes back, reaches up, makes the catch. Upton tags. So Upton will go to third.
Calhoun did it in the first inning when they hit a bullet up the middle, and you can hear the crowd reacting. It's like they hear something that's hit hard and they say, hits. But Abner put him out there for a reason. The old Adam balls. Now get one of those hard ground balls at somebody, turn a double play, and get out of this inning without giving up another run.
Andrelton Simmons is the hitter. Simmons had an RBI double in the 4th. He later scored in that inning.
Well, the one thing that Simmons has done, as we have seen since he's been in the American League, he ambushes well. He does not wait around. You throw him a cookie first pitch or two, he's going to be jumping all over.
think they understood that they're going with the wrinkle. Remember, Yusmeiro Petit came in, first pitch he threw was a fastball. Maldonado saw, hit, squared him up. Runners in scoring position here, less than 2 outs. Good time to throw that wrinkle in there.
Powell coming in. Piscotty coming in. Nobody's going to get it, and they're going to throw behind Pujols, and Pujols gets back to second as Upton comes in to score, and now it's 8-6. As Simien drops one into right center field.
Yeah, Scott Emerson going to the mound again.
Simien is a hot hitter.
Yes, he is. Well, he's aggressive. He could be a good ball hitter and a bad ball hitter. That's not a good combination if you're trying to get him out.
He's got 13 hits and 32 at-bats this year. So that is an average well over 400.
And I think when Yusmeiro Petit was signed by the Athletics and the success he has had throughout his career, this is probably the surprising thing, that you hope to have him come in and give some innings and put up zeros. But now all of a sudden it's going to be the bullpen again. Liam Hendricks is getting loose. Kind of hope that Yusmeiro Petit could give you a couple of maybe 2 to 3 shutout innings and add on the way they did with Chapman's blast. But now back to a 2-run game and 2 on.
And Valbuena the hitter. Valbuena, a fly ball to left field and a 2-run single. Fouls it just to our left. Ohtani will be next.
This is already the 5th inning, Kipe.
A lot of action tonight. 20 total hits, 14 total runs. We've already seen 6 pitchers.
But we haven't seen the rally monkey.
Not yet, too early. Is that thing like 40 years old, the rally monkey? At what point do you put the rally monkey away?
At what point do you?
Started when they won the World Series in 2002. This is 2018.
So you're saying 16 years, the monkey's getting old?
We capping the life expectancy for the little capuchin?
I think Ray said it best. The monkey's getting old. He'll be out, though.
Oh, he will be. I mean, just think of the marketing department figuring new ways to come up with ways.
They make us chuckle once in a while. Off of Petit, rolls toward Chapman, and everybody's safe. And now they're loaded for Ohtani, and this place is about to light up.
And you know, Kipe, if he had not put his body on that ball, it'd been a double play to get out of the inning. But the PFPs, he followed through. He's upset that he didn't make the play. Off his left foot, ankle someplace that caromed over, and Bob Melvin not going to let Petit face it. Going to go to Liam Hendricks, and no chance for anybody on that one.
So we'll be back. Angels storming back. They got the bases loaded and 1 out.
The next day they did it again to kind of left center field. Another 2-run shot, and tonight in the second inning, a blast to left center, some 429 feet from home plate, which is a new Angels record for a rookie to hit home runs in 3 consecutive games. Right now, Liam Hendriks pitching. A ground ball back to the pitcher. 1-2-3 double play. How's that? Got to think positive. And I just wonder if Bob Melvin felt that Yusmeiro Petit's fastball was not up to speed for Ohtani. So Hendriks can throw a mid-90s fastball. Petit at about 90, 91 max. And we'll see what happens. Too many times Hendriks has come into games with a first pitch fastball that's been hit. And
well, the crowd is on its feet as Ohtani steps in with the bases loaded. Pujols, Simmons, Valbuena are the runners. First pitch is a fastball inside as Ohtani bends back out of the way a little bit.
Guys, that might not be strike one, but I like it. It's establishing in. We know Ohtani has some thoughts about being pitched in. He got that right elbow hanging out, that throwing arm, something that didn't happen a lot to him in Japan.
Yeah.
So we'll see where Hendriks continues to go with the heater.
Missed again inside. Now it's 2-0.
Well, and also the fastball he hit off of Daniel Gossett was a little bit away and showing power to the opposite field. I think that's one of the biggest fears with Ohtani. Dallas brings up a good point because he's a right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter with the right elbow exposed.
And he lays off a pitch that was down and in, and now it's 3-0. So can't be cute now.
Well, Lucroy doing a good job backhanding a ball that was to his right, supposed to be outside, and Liam Hendriks overthrew it.
So 3-0. And he missed inside. All 4 pitches were inside, and Ohtani takes the walk, and now it's 8-7, and the bases remain loaded. So 4 straight balls by Hendriks as he slams the rosin bag down behind the pitcher's mound.
You know, it's amazing to hear the crowd boo when the Angels just tied the game. A 1-run game, my apologies. That's right. It was.
Guys, that tells you how important Ohtani has already become to the lineup, to the fan base. I'm down here by the boxes and everybody stood up. They're 3 deep, cameras out, flash bulbs going off. He is appointment television already across Major League Baseball.
So 2 runs in, and here comes Maldonado. First pitch, that one's a strike to Maldonado. Maldonado has a strikeout and an RBI single. Four hits and a walk in the inning for the Angels. And swing and a miss. Maldonado chased the ball. So 0-2 the count.
Maldonado does not want to get cheated. He's not going to wait around. So fastball, strike, little slider, strike.
So Hendriks well ahead in the count. Blocked nicely by Lucroy.
Jonathan Lucroy tonight has been very busy, especially doing this. And that's a huge block because the way it bounced up hit his chest protector. It wasn't one that was short enough that he could block by catching it, or at least keeping it close to him. And anytime the ball hits off your chest protector, if you're not properly squared up to the pitcher, it's going to take an angle. You're not going to catch it. It's not going to drop below your, to the point that it is a good block instead of a catch.
Roll toward Chapman. Chapman steps on the bag, throws to first, double play. Nicely done by Matt Chapman. So the damage was 2 runs, and it could have been worse. So 6th inning coming up, 8-7 A's.
You're supposed to do when the ball is hit to you, and that is Matt Chapman catching, throwing to first base with a statue at first base, and Matt Olson. But this is an excellent play, a huge play to turn the double play. He had plenty of time, but steps on the bag and throws over to first base. But this is just amazing. What Matt Olson just, okay.
Reminds you of the quarterback running the Statue of Liberty play.
Exactly. I mean, that's how comfortable Matt Olson is in having throws come from Matt Chapman.
So the new pitcher for the Angels is Jose Alvarez. Alvarez, the lefty, the lone lefty in the Angels bullpen. Faced Piscotty, Powell, and Joyce. He is pitcher number 5 in the game. It is possible the Angels may go 1 inning each guy, unless the A's were to knock one of these relievers around a little bit.
You know, it's almost like a different look every inning, which sometimes can be beneficial to a pitcher or a team. And so far for the Angels, it has been.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it certainly can work. I mean, Angels head off yesterday, so you're not really overworking anybody. It's Emilio Pagan throwing out in the A's bullpen. Here's Powell. Powell's had a good game, 2 for 2. A couple of singles and a run scored. First pitch is in, first drive. So Bridwell, Ramirez, Wood, Bedrosian, and Alvarez.
Well, you see Alvarez in this inning. You got Scotty right-hander. Now you got Powell and Joyce, 2 left-handers back-to-back. So maybe a 1-inning outing for Alvarez, the lefty in the bullpen, have him come in and get through the 6th inning. I mean, after all, it is a 1-run game, and fortunately, my mistake is correct. That still 1-run lead for the A's. Just keep the lead.
Yeah, the A's have been kind of fending off the Angels the last couple innings.
Exactly.
Chapman's home run help.
I mean, you need somebody to just shut them down and get back in the dugout with a 1-2-3 inning.
Trout playing well into left center field. Upton very shallow in left field. A little bit outside, 92 miles an hour from Alvarez.
You know, one thing we talk about is pitchers trying to build on a momentum and get their guys back in the dugout as quickly as possible. One thing to note that the Oakland Athletics offense has done is they've kind of gone blow for blow with the Angels. They scratched a couple across. The A's have showed resiliency and come back and fought back and clawed back and got a couple more across for them.
So you don't think the final score will be 8-7?
I think we might see a little more traffic before it's all said and done.
Well, the surprising thing here, remember the home opener for the Athletics, it was Powell hitting the ball over Upton's head for a triple before scoring the winning run in extra innings, and Upton right now playing even more shallow than he was then. But lefty wasn't pitching against Powell either.
Upton's challenging him to do it again. Good swings by Powell. That one fouled into the upper deck.
It's like Powell all night, hitting a couple of base hits to left field, but it's even against the lefty, the tough lefty, he just seems to be trying to do the same thing.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So Alvarez painted that outside corner.
Trying to get fouling off the breaking pitches, and then the old hitter right on the corner, and a good fastball from Alvarez catching the outside corner.
So 2 away for Matt Joyce, who hits for the 4th time. Ground out, 2-run homer, strikeout for Joyce. First home run of the year that came in the 2nd inning.
I think too, Cap, there are times that a manager will put a particular pitcher in to try to see if the opposing manager will make changes, thinking that the back end of the bullpen, in this case for the Angels, all right-handed, and Bob Melvin's smart enough to know that even with the lefty, he has the lead. There's no reason to pinch hit. He's got Smolensky, the right-hander. Got Pender. Remember, he hyperextended his knee yesterday.
A little sore this morning.
Yeah, and so I remember when the Tigers, the A's, were in Detroit with Brandon Moss, and lefties were brought in twice to face Brandon Moss, and he hit home runs twice.
Yep.
And Bob Melvin said afterwards that each time he thought I was going to pinch hit for him, and he never did. And as a result, he hit 2 home runs. Jeff Collins, one of the assistant trainer, made a good point. He said, fortunately yesterday, that the ground gave a little bit with Chad Pender, the grass, when he slipped. Sure. He said, if it had been harder or turf, it could have been very, very serious. I mean, Chad was saying last night coming in here that he felt he caught a break in the way it hyperextended, but not to the point of where it could have done some serious damage. But he said it started to stiffen up as the game went, and to your point earlier today, even more so. So let's hope he's okay. A very talented young man, a very valuable young man.
2-2 pitch is hit down the left field line, foul, and it sounds like, and that's not official, it's just what we're hearing, that Trace Thompson could be activated tomorrow.
And Kipe, if that's the case, then maybe it could be different for Bob Melvin tonight. And again, we don't know the availability of Chad Pender. And if that's the case, questionable, then Bob Melvin's down to a 2-man bench.
So maybe Trace Thompson tomorrow in an A's uniform. Certainly possible. Three and 2 to Matt Joyce. Alvarez looking for a 3-up, 3-down inning. And he's not going to get it as he misses outside.
The A's keep the magic going because they scored a lot of 2-out runs tonight, and it's like Mike Scioscia's going to stay with his lefty.
First walk issued by Angels pitchers tonight.
See, that was not in the game plan for Mike Scioscia. He wanted Alvarez to have a 1-2-3 inning, faced a couple of lefties. Now he's got righty switch, righty, left, right. So it's a little bit different. He was hoping for the 1-2-3 inning before his club hit again, and he probably went to the bullpen again.
So Alvarez facing Simien, 0-1 the count. Marcus homered in the second, his first of the year. He has also grounded out and hit a fly ball to center field. Foul straight back. Fastball 92 miles an hour. Outer half of the plate. Outfield shifted a little bit toward right center for Marcus. He reaches for that one, rolls it up the line. Pujols grabs it, and that's a good play by Pujols. He charged in quickly to grab it before it rolled foul. So that's how the inning ends.
Infield and nobody in center field, and that baseball hit by Marcus Simien, scoring Boog Powell, who had tripled over the head of Justin Upton in left field. And Marcus Simien with Dallas Braden able to not warn him that that was going to happen. Dallas conveniently got out of the way. Marcus Simien. There's Dallas. But that was a big one. We could go yesterday against the Angels as he's trying to hang on with this one. And Emilio Pagan now pitching.
Bottom of the sixth, and Pagan will face the top of the order. Cozart, Trout, and Upton. Pagan's fifth appearance. 5 1/3 innings. He's allowed a couple of earned runs. And it's 2-0. These pitchers have fallen behind a lot tonight.
Yes, they have.
Got to be careful.
Started the first batter. Cozart is hitting now. Went to 3-2. Got hit with a breaking ball. Fortunately, did not score in the inning.
Good pitch there. Cozart, after being hit by a pitch, he has grounded out twice. Actually, the second ground out was a bunt attempt. Line foul. Blue Jays beat the Rangers today 8-5. So the Rangers with that loss now 3-6 on the year. Game was played down in Arlington. Simien charges, throws low. Olsen digs it out.
That's some good hands, folks. Wow.
Talk about soft hands. It's a great job by Matty to clear himself. Lines himself up, gives himself an angle he's able to dig this ball out with. You see here, he doesn't take it straight on. He understands it's going to make that short hop. You can see there, he creates a good angle with his body. Stays through the baseball with that glove hand, doesn't come up, doesn't swipe. A lot of times you see that happen. The ball can eject out of the glove. Good job of staying soft by Ole.
So one away for Trout. Trout to left, down the line, near the foul pole. Foul.
That's too bad.
Just a loud strike, folks.
Woo. Look at Melvin. Wow. It sounded great. Fortunately, it was foul. Not by much. The best low ball hitters from the right side I've ever seen.
This one's going to stay in the ballpark toward Powell. So Trout is 0 for 4. So 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Bring up Upton. Cozart and Trout are combined 0 for 7 with 1 hit by pitch.
We went 0 for 6 a week ago yesterday. You saw what happened after that. So let's be happy about tonight, but continue if that's the case. But this is not over. 4 at-bats already for Trout in just 6 innings.
So here's Upton with 2 outs. Upton has struck out twice and singled and scored.
See, Matt Chapman did what Chu did yesterday to add a couple of insurance runs, but Chu did it in the 9th inning. Chapman hit it last inning and just need to keep adding on. There's too many bats remaining for the Angels.
You're going to have to go through this lineup one more time. Hopefully only one more time. Upton fouls it right up over our head. He had a pitch to hit. So 5 pitchers used by the Angels, 4 pitchers used by the Athletics.
Buckner getting loose for the Athletics, and I think both managers are just figuring this is going to be one of those games, and this is the fun part about the game of baseball. Take all the analytics and all the initials for various plays, but the bottom line, this is just baseball at its best, just trying to get outs.
Powell hustling back, spinning around, and it's over his head. Hangs up against the wall. Upton to second with a sliding double, and he's 2 for 4.
Wow, this is a pitch that you'd like to think, well, you can get it out, but this is the power of Justin Upton. Line drive straight at pound center field. He got turned around a little bit there, and basically the ball was just a bullet over his head. He looked there and then looked back over his right shoulder, and essentially it's got to hit off the warning track on the wall anyway. Maybe Mike Trout would have caught it because he's 333 feet away.
He may have caught that one. So here's Pujols, who has walked and singled twice and scored twice. Each team now with 11 hits. Upton has good speed at second base.
gone here, you don't want to get lazy as far as execution is concerned. You want to make sure you are driving this baseball down in the zone. We talked about Albert, the professional hitter he has been his entire career, cutting his swing down, runners in scoring position, taking what's given to you. Got to execute.
Blocked nicely by Lucroy. Rolls just up the first base line a couple feet.
You know how many times Lucroy's blocked the ball tonight, Ken?
A lot. 10.
This is number 9. Number 9.
So with that, they're going to walk Albert Pujols, and it's going to be Cole Calhoun. The hitter Calhoun is going to face Ryan Buchter. So pitching change from the Big A. We'll be back.
Group LLC.
So quite a ball game tonight, and really it feels like it's in like the bottom of the 14th inning. But it's the bottom of the 6th. There has been a lot going on. So Ryan Buchter comes in. His job is simple. He has to get Cole Calhoun.
And Kai, when the A's were in spring training, everybody's talking about, oh, aren't these pitchers that can throw multiple innings? It's not working tonight.
I'm not seeing it tonight.
I'm not seeing it either.
Well, Petit's the guy you hope can do it, and he just was not sharp.
And even Pagan. Pagan gets the first 2 outs, and Upton crushes a ball to center. And that was
I think, you know how you said when Joyce got walked, that was not part of Mike Scioscia's plan, and I don't think Bob Melvin wants to go to Buchter this early, but he ends up, because Calhoun is coming up, he kind of has to.
You're right.
I mean, the game is on the line here, and you have a very good left-handed hitter. Sometimes the game is decided before the 9th.
Say it often, you're right, partner, because this is a huge, I mean, really right now, I mean, it'd be nice to have a smooth inning, but that last one was the 3rd for the A's pitchers, because it's been a messy 4th, 5th, and now 6th inning as far as activity.
Calhoun hits it hard. Olsen backhands. Olsen will hustle to the bag. He's got it. Side retired. So Buchter does his job. He gets Calhoun, and the Angels strand a pair.
That will be a collectible, folks. 3 games against the Red Sox that's starting on Friday, April the 20th. Grab your phone, pop in athletics.com/tickets to grab yours today. And we have shown that jersey several times, and it is a jersey that is going to be worn quite a bit. And the way Matt Chapman is playing both sides of the baseball tonight, defensively, offensively, that's a jersey number 26. And when Joe Rudi came in last year, I said, Chappie, I want you to meet the guy who actually wore number 26 and wore it quite well. Left fielder Joe Rudi, and we had a nice conversation, but I'm sure Joe is very proud of the fact that Matt Chapman is doing so well wearing number 26.
Lowrie, Davis, and Olsen as the Angels leave their left-hander in there, Alvarez. That one hit very well toward the right field corner. It is foul. 0-2.
Just couldn't quite tuck it in there.
You know what I want to say? Jed Lowrie did that when he's with the Astros. But remember, he's traded to the Astros before he came back. And it was a pivotal game, but right down the line. This one, though, is foul. The other one is a home run. And he has done well, Jed has, against left-handed pitchers, as we have seen with Diekman of the Rangers. Opposite field.
0-2 pitch. Another good swing. This one fouled toward the upper deck. Yeah, you're right, Ray. Lowrie is 5 for 12 batting right-handed so far this year.
Well, he was saying that he's not surprised that the Rangers would turn him around when he got the hit off Diekman.
To Trout, who trots in a couple steps, and he's got it.
I was amazed how switch hitters can get the appropriate at bats. Of course, each game they're hitting depending on the pitcher who's starting.
Well, Mike Scioscia is coming out. Yeah. He's going to go to the bullpen. So we'll be back. 8-7 A's, 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. It's also streaming live at NBC Sports, the NBC Sports app. The home of the authentic Quakes fan is NBC Sports California. That's a great look high above the Big A. So as Chris Davis steps to the plate, he will be facing Jim Johnson, who's off to a good start for the Angels. 4 2/3 innings. He has not allowed a hit or a run, and he has 6 strikeouts. So big Jim Johnson.
You have to wonder, Kai, if he is more suited and comfortable in a setup role versus being a closer, which he was. The Orioles, the Athletics, and kind of bounced around a little bit, got his He's pitching back, and he's right over the top, keeping the pitch down low in the strike zone, as that one was very difficult to hit.
It's that big bowling ball sinker, that breaking ball.
It's hard to figure out, too, because the 2 years before he came to the Athletics, he had over 50 saves.
He did.
And I'm not talking about combined. Each year over 50 saves with the Orioles, and when he came to the A's, he really struggled. You're right. He may be better off pitching in the 7th and 8th inning. He's off to a good start.
Well, not as much pressure. Obviously not as much money as you get as a closer, but you know, if you have success, maybe get back in the road, because I think, as you pointed out, Kipe, in Oakland, Angels really have not settled on a true bona fide everyday closer.
Nope.
But all the guys kind of auditioning for that role. Jim Johnson having had success before, maybe it's something that Mike Scioscia would consider.
Hit well to right field. Calhoun near the wall, leaps, and that baby is gone. The 5th home run of the night for the Athletics, and it's 9-7.
But again, a huge run to add on. Jim Johnson, as we're just talking good things, makes a mistake on the inner part of the plate, and Matt Olson crushes another one. Look where the location is and where it was thrown. 93 miles per hour, but it's supposed to be outside. He just reacts on a fastball inside. And Matt Olson, the high towering fly ball. And there's your yellow line. And really, it's not that high for Calhoun to jump to try to catch it, to rob what would have been a home run. But last year,
it may have been an out last year.
That's
because
right.
He would have had another foot or two to move back toward the wall. That's the difference this year.
It's a great call.
See where that line is? That is now obviously the home run fence. It's 8 feet high. Last year it was 18 feet high. Last year you had to hit it over the out-of-town scoreboard for it to be a home run. That's the way it's always been here. Well, now they drop that line down and move the fence in about a foot from the out-of-town scoreboard. So there's a little gap between the scoreboard and the fence. Not a huge gap, but you saw the ball hit right behind it, bounce off the scoreboard. So that's a significant change. And it helped the A's right there. So Olson homers, his 2nd of the year. And we have reached the 7th inning stretch here at the Big A. The A's leading it 9-7. First, it's 3 games starting April 16th against the White Sox, followed by a 3-game weekend series against the Red Sox starting on the 20th. First 20,000 fans get the Matt Chapman Kelly Green replica jersey on Green Friday, April 20th. Get your tickets at athletics.com/tickets today. Matt Olson with a home run. So the A's have hit 5 home runs tonight. They hit a total of 5 in their first 8 games, so they have doubled their home run total tonight. Second most home runs hit by an A's team at Angel Stadium. I'm going to go back to 1996. Wasn't the 1996 A's team the team that hit a whole bunch of home runs? I think it was.
8 in one game.
I think that was lots of home runs hit by that group.
Okay, that was another 2-out run also. The Matt Olson home run, so 7 of the 9 now scoring with 2 outs. Just have to shut down the Angels after scoring.
2-0 to Simien, Valbuena and Ohtani to follow. So after Simien, a couple of left-handers. So that is what awaits Ryan Buchter. Simien is 2 for 3. Single, double, 2 RBIs and a run score.
He was a guy that the Angels were going to lean on heavily this year, coming off a career year. You add Upton, we talked about it, you retain him. Lengthy lineup when a guy like Andrelton Simmons can perform.
3-0 pitch, that's a strike. Yeah, Simien is that guy that once you get through the heart of the order and you think, okay, whew, and then he slaps one to right field.
How about Ohtani hitting 8?
Ohtani hits a home run.
And that is a pretty good line. They've got Maldonado adding a little bit. He did a good job at the Coliseum in those 4 games and does a tremendous job catching.
Strike 2. Kinsler's on the disabled list. Can't forget about that. Kinsler played in one of the games last week. He played in game 2 of that series.
And he admitted today that the 10-day disabled list has been very beneficial because he said in about 6 days I'm going to be ready, give an extra day or 2, and then 10th day, which is Tuesday next week, he's available to come back.
Up the middle, and Simien has another hit. Man, he is red hot.
You know, in that situation, he basically went 3-0, got a chance to see a good fastball, 3-0, 3-1, and 3-2, and finally, not surprised that he hit it because they were all 3 exactly the same, probably the same velocity, and Buchter getting him the fastball down the middle. So Marcus, no chance. You know, we talk about outfielders diving. That's a smart play for Marcus Simien, not diving, taking a chance on his body when he had no chance to get to the ball, and had he gotten to the ball, he wasn't going to throw him out anyway.
So we got a pinch hitter. And Jeffrey Marte is hitting for Valbuena. Marte hits here in the 7th. Simien, good speed. Has a decent lead. Buchter's got that funky move to first that Marte wants time.
You know, I still don't understand how an umpire, because if there's a runner on base, a pitcher, especially obviously out of the stretch, he's going to take longer. And how you can grant a hitter timeout when the pitcher's ready to deliver is beyond me. I'd like to see an umpire with a hitter saying time, not say anything and make him stand there just to see what would happen, because the hitter has to know in these situations that the pitcher is going to be more deliberate because there is a runner on base and he's a threat to steal.
He's looking for a ground ball off the bat of Marte. Pops one. Headed to the 3rd deck.
Foss, you mentioned the aggressiveness of Andrelton Simmons. I talked about him coming off a career year last year, 19 stolen bases, which is a career high.
I wonder what that conversation was about. Brian Knight walked all the way out. Buchter came halfway in, and he handed him the baseball. And maybe to say,
mound visit.
But maybe Brian Knight went on and said, hey, I shouldn't have granted him time as you were getting ready to move, because it's very unusual for an umpire to walk out the way Brian Knight just did.
Boy, that is a funky move.
Well, there's a difference between moves from a left-hander. You have a predetermined lefty, meaning a guy who knows he's going to go over no matter what. You have a reader, meaning a guy who might read the base runner. If he jabs, you might see him pick over to stop him.
Main
Pitch,
thing
inside corner.
Main thing he does is right there. He kind of curls the knee a little bit, but he never takes the right foot past the slab back towards second base. And he kind of uses the knee, the right knee, when he kind of bends it a little bit, he bends it towards the back, but the foot doesn't go. See if we can see it in this shot, but he kind of freezes the runner accordingly.
Line drive, base hit left field. Down the line, Joyce hustling over to get it. Simmons to third, Marte to second, and here come the Angels again.
Nothing's easy, is it?
Well, Boss, you talked about that slight pause with the right side. Moves a little quicker here with the wrinkle, almost like that slide step off-speed pitch. If that's the case, you want to make sure you're on top of this. Buck just not able to really finish this one. And you see there, Valbuena does a good job of dropping the head, delivering this line drive down the left field line.
Well, that was a hanger.
Yep.
Man. And coming into the right-hander after he just blown 2 fastballs by him.
So here's Ohtani. So the tying runs in scoring position. And Ohtani hits it hard right to Olsen. And
oh, what a great play.
the runners are going to have to hold. The ball was hit so hard, and Olsen scooped it. And there was just nothing the runners could do.
And if Simmons had taken off, he'd been out by 15 feet because Matt Olsen made the play. He immediately looked him back to first base and then went to the bag knowing he had plenty of time. What a great play by Matt Olsen on a ball hit hard and playing deep. See how he feinted a little bit like he was going to throw, pushing Simmons back to first base. So hits a home run to give the A's an extra run and then makes a nice defensive play. Maybe since our trips to the mound remaining is below us, we can't see. Maybe occasionally we can get our great camera crew to shoot, because Scott Emerson, I'm losing count because there's been many trips by both teams.
Yeah, I've lost count
There you go.
too. So the A's only have 1 left. Keep that in mind. The Angels, it's funny, they used their 3 in the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
And they haven't used one since.
He used 3 really within a couple batters.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the A's have 1 left.
And that's Blake Trinan, who is loosening up.
Here is Martin Maldonado. Inside to Maldonado. On deck is Zach Kozar.
And again, let's not forget that the A's are playing the defense to the infield back. So a ground ball, and we thought that Ohtani had done his job. But pretty good base running by Marte at second by not going to third base on the hard hit ball to the right side. You just automatically assume that a ball is there, you're going to go to third. In this case, he had been running into an out.
Close pitch, but outside, 92 miles an hour. So now it's 2-0. Maldonado is 1 for 3. Had an RBI single in the 4th, but he hit into a double play to end the 5th inning with some runners in scoring position. That came with the bases loaded. 7-0.
I just wonder, I mean, this is just the 7th inning. And Blake Treinen loosening up.
Every inning's a save opportunity.
Exactly, exactly.
It's been that way, really, if you look at the card rate, it's been that way since the 4th inning.
Yeah, and my question, if Treinen's warming up and Maldonado somehow reaches first, would he go to him
He may.
with an out in the 7th inning?
Real pitch is a good one, right at the knees on the outside corner.
And really the one guy the A's do have in the bullpen that you don't figure with Blake Treinen being closer, but if, again, to your excellent point about every situation being a save, he might save Casilla to try to finish it if the A's can retain the lead.
Coulomb, Casilla, Hatcher, Treinen. Those are the 4 pitchers left in the bullpen.
And if Treinen's loosening now, it's a whole different situation.
Chapman with a great play.
My goodness. That's a game saver, folks. That's 2 runs. That's a double, 2 runs. Matt Chapman, quick as he is, and Blake Treinen's going to be brought in the game. Wow, what a play.
When we talked about first steps out in the outfield, reminds me of a guy named Mark Kotze, a tremendous first step. This right here, an outstanding display of initial instinct by Matt Chapman. Over at third base, these balls to the glove side, excuse me, backhand side, it's more of a controlled fall than it is a dive. Unbelievable.
So, still 9-7, 2 away.
It's a double hooking away from Chappie, and he goes to his right. First quick step, Maldonado couldn't believe it. Figured he had a double. It's going to be a tie game. Instead, Matt Chapman following Matt Olson in the previous play, hard hit by Ohtani. He goes to first. Chapman robs Maldonado, and here we have Blake Treinen trying to get the big out. Cozart in this, the 7th inning.
Simmons at third, Marte at second. Cozart is 0 for 3, hit by a pitch in the first inning. Strike with a fastball at 97 miles an hour. 13 hits for the Angels, 12 hits for the A's. 9-7. Not close. Lucroy on the backhand. So 1-1 the count.
You know, this is hard for a catcher because Blake Treinen throws close to 100. He has tremendous movement. And as a catcher, your reflexes have to be top notch because you're putting the target where you hope the ball is coming close to. And if it's not, you're doing everything you can to catch it or block it. And he just backhanded the ball, which you have to do in certain situations, and with Blake Treinen throwing as hard as he does, this is one of them.
bounced right past Trout in the on-deck circle. Treinen got his first save of the season on Monday night against Texas. That's his only save.
Boss, you talk about difficulty for a catcher. We find ourselves in a 1-2 count, 2 outs. You talk about that bowling ball sinker, 90-mile-an-hour breaking ball, runners on second and third. The confidence in Lucroy to be able to expand here. This is what we're looking for.
Exactly right, and you're right. The slider at 90, that's unusual, but that's how hard Blake Trout throws. A very heavy baseball. One thing you don't want to see is a bloop. And if somebody throws as hard as Treinen does, it could get on the hands of Cozart. That's what you don't want to see in this at bat.
Reaches for that one. So the count remains 1-2.
I say that because with 2 outs, the runners are on the move. They don't have to worry about waiting to see if the ball is going to drop. So best case scenario, blow him away. You have to hope that if he throws a slider, he doesn't try to guide it in because of the possibility of throwing it errantly. You just depend on your catcher to do the job.
Another foul ball right back to the screen.
You have to figure 2 former National Leaguers, actually catcher, batter, pitcher. Cozart with the Reds, trying him with the Nationals before he traded back to the Athletics.
Straightaway defense for Cozart. And he got him swinging with a breaking ball.
Ball.
No, they're calling foul ball.
Bob Melvin was asking if the ball hit the ground or a foul ball. And he said yes, it was a foul ball. And did he make contact? He thought the ball hit the ground. He's trying to sell it that he caught it, but it hit the dirt.
Definitely hit the dirt.
Good job of trying to sell it by Lucroy. Just didn't work out. Looked at A.J. Przinsky against the Angels many years ago in Chicago.
1-2 again. Seems like every pitch that Treinen throws is really nasty.
It is, but you know what? I'm seeing a slider that does not seem to be the real hard one that we've seen before, and maybe it's just concerned about the runner at third. But if there's ever been a night for Lucroy to get his work in, tonight has been it in blocking balls in the dirt.
2-2 the count. Game on the line here in the 7th. Here's the pitch. Reach for and poke foul down the right field line. So this is a good battle.
Well,
Good
Foss,
hitter,
you talked
good
about
pitcher.
sorry, Glenn. Foss, you talked about executing with that sinker. Lucroy not really sure where that pitch is going to end up, hoping for the target. I wonder if there's any thought to trying to use a four-seam fastball up in the zone just to change the eye level. The hitter very familiar. Cozart has seen a lot.
Question is, can he throw a four-seam? Maybe everything's movement. That's something that he just throws that sinker all the time.
Broken bat. Chapman's got it. Strong throw. He threw it away. And this game is going to be tied.
Oh my. I just wonder if he slipped when he threw the ball. Olsen tried to stretch and catch it off his glove. Wow.
Cozart ends up at second.
No, he just overthrew it. And wow. Probably the easiest play he's had all night. And it's a play that just to the right, Olsen could not reach out and catch it, knock it down. And intentional walk to Mike Trout, but wow.
So Trout goes to first. Cozart now at second. 2 on, 2 out for Upton. This game is tied at 9. Those runs charged to Booker, but they will be unearned runs. So here is Upton, who's 2 for 4. Single, double, run scored. He has also struck out twice. Treinen kicks and fires, and the pitch is inside.
Well, one thing you have to say, Cozart had a great at bat against Treinen.
Yes, he did.
Oh, 9
4 or
pitches.
5 foul ball.
Yep, 4 foul balls. Got ahead of him and broke his bat. Probably from Chapman's standpoint, might have been better if he had smoked a line drive instead of breaking the bat. But it's just one play that you expect him to make more times than not, and that time he did not.
Upton hits it foul hard down the third baseline.
I think the amazing thing is to see the right-handers pulling the ball, but maybe because the ball is going down hard, and they're just getting on top of it, beating the ground.
Twin. Nasty pitch there by Treinen. So 1-2 the count. Upton steps out. Now he's ready. Pujols would be next. Treinen just trying to get the A's back in the dugout. Takes that one. That error by Chapman, the 6th error of the year by the Athletics. First error for the A's third baseman. Tapped at the plate, foul. Another good at bat, right?
Yes.
They're making Treinen work.
Yeah, and just wonder, the concern I have was with Cozart and some of the sliders. We've seen some nasty sliders that he has thrown since being with the Athletics, and sometimes you throw a real hard slider, you get a chase, but sometimes it also will get past the catcher. As hard as he does throw, a hard slider is one that right-handed hitters will chase.
And now it's a full count, so that'll get the runners moving. Cozart at second, Trout at first, so plenty of speed on the bases for the Angels. Trying in a quick check. Runners go, and the pitch is hit to right center. It's hit a ton. Powell on the move. Powell near the wall, and it is off the wall. No, it is gone. That's a 3-run homer for Justin Upton. Boone Powell is down at the wall. The umpire said it went over the wall, and Upton with a crushing blow for the Athletics.
The at bat gapes into 3-2, and 96 with some sink, but also a pitch that Upton, remember he had a 2-strike pitch straight away center his last at bat. Powell hit it hard. And that's one of the reasons that Mike Trout does not bang into walls right there.
And again, the new right field wall comes into play. It helped the A's on Olson's home run. It hurt the A's right there because Powell may have caught that last year or it would have went off the wall. But this time, this year, it's over the yellow line and it's a home run. 0-2 to Albert Pujols. So 5 runs here in the 7th inning. And the Angels lead 12-9. Chases that one side retired. Major damage done by the Angels. Again, 5 runs and a very costly error by the Athletics. 12-9, Angels lead after 7. So it's 12-9, Angels lead. Make sure you join us tomorrow. It'll be game 2 of this 3-game series against the Angels. Andrew Triggs and J.C. Ramirez is your pitching matchup. Coverage begins at 5:30 with A's pregame live. You can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. So that'll be tomorrow night. Hour earlier start here at the Big A. First pitch to Lucroy from Jim Johnson is a strike. And a day game on Sunday, and the Angels telling us today that it will be a sellout on Sunday, and Shohei Ohtani will pitch. See, Cozart goes to third, and now in the game at second is Nolan Fontana. So it's Valbuena who's out. So Fontana comes in the game.
Marte pinch hit for Valbuena, and then so I guess that would be the one, but they made the change, and Cozart every position except the one that he came over after playing in Cincinnati so often.
1-2 to Lucroy. Jim Johnson back out there. He faced 3 hitters in the 7th inning, gave up the home run to Matt Olson. And Lucroy swings and misses.
Well, we talked about Luke seeing the ball well. I think it's just a better job here of Jim Johnson moving the baseball around, expanding with 2 strikes, that big overhand breaking ball. You know about the sinker out of the hand. Does a good job of changing the eye level there and expanding, and Maldonado with the block.
Well, here's Piscotty. So first road game of the year, and it's an exciting one here in Anaheim. Tell you what, I'm convinced, Ray, in Dallas, that the first 6 weeks of this season, I think, are huge. I looked at the schedule today, and starting tonight, 27 of the next 39 games are on the road. That's a lot. That's a lot of road games.
But you said it best. It's home for 8 in this case, on the road for 3 cities, home for 6 against 2 White Sox, Red Sox, then off again for a 3-city trip.
Fontana, a nice play, throws to first, 2 away. And that'll bring up Powell. Yeah, the point is it's just an area where the A's need to be better this year on the road. They were 29 and 52 last year. I think they will be better on the road, but it is going to be it's a challenging stretch here. Gets you right just past the middle of May.
Well, the strong suit for the Athletics coming out of spring training. Better defense, score runs. But tonight, it's been and a good bullpen basically. But tonight the bullpen really has let it down. Even though Gossett gave up 5, but remember the A's have scored 9.
There is Casilla. To the screen by Powell. That's Keenan Middleton in the Angels bullpen. Both the bullpens are out in left field. The Angels bullpen is above and further back. Trying to figure out what happened in the 7th, but the air is the one that's going to play and that's going to jump out, unfortunately.
Not all the great things that Matt Chapman has done. He's going to think about that. And that's the way he is. That's the way he is, because it's been a great night for him.
So 2-2 the count to Powell. Joyce kicks and deals. The ball's grounded right to the shortstop. Simmons flips it to first. So Jim Johnson, a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the 8th coming up. The Angels leading 12-9. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Lots of crooked numbers in this one. 9-12-1 for the A's. 12-14-0 for the Angels. Gossett knocked out in the 4th. Bridwell knocked out in the 2nd. Neither was sharp at all. The A's have hit 5 home runs. There's been all kinds of offense in this game, really, by both teams. Home runs for the Athletics. Lowrie, Joyce, Simien, Chapman, and Olsen, and they're going to need a couple more if they're going to come back and win this one. Bottom of the 8th inning. That's the new pitcher for the A's. It's Santiago Casilla. Casilla has not had a lot of work any early going. This is just his second appearance.
It would have been nice if he'd have been coming in to save this game, but right now he's trying to keep the Angels from scoring any more and see if the A's can, in the 9th inning, do something.
Calhoun, Simmons, Fontana are the 3 scheduled hitters. Calhoun is 1 for 4. He singled and scored in the 4th inning. Cole Calhoun. Full shift on. Indians won their home opener today. Beat the Kansas City Royals 3-2. Carrasco over Duffy. 41 degrees at first pitch at Progressive Field. Get the hand warmers out.
41 to start.
Probably wasn't getting any warmer.
Just think if they'd been on the mistake by the lake, it'd have been 41 with a wind chill of about 2 below.
So you had to take in the wind chill a little bit.
Well, the lake alone brought in lower temperature, but it's downtown Jacobs Field now, or not Jacobs Field, Progressive. They changed the name, originally the Jacobs Field.
It'll always be the Jake to me.
That's right, I agree.
Strike. Calhoun can't believe.
Good low sinker. I mean, this is a great pitch to throw 3-2, but it was thrown 3-0. Casilla given the call.
That one is outside, so it's a leadoff walk for Calhoun. So that's the 5th walk. The Angels have received. So here is Andrelton Simmons, who is 3 for 4. 2 singles, a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. He's filling up the stat sheet today. Not close. Orioles beat the Yankees today 7-3 in 14 innings. Woo. Pedro Alvarez hit a grand slam for the Orioles in the top of the 14th. Manny Machado hit a couple of home runs. Yes, he did. Runner goes. Throw to second base. And Calhoun is in.
As soon as Casilla lifted his leg, Calhoun was gone.
Well, this has been a knock on Casilla. Frankly, his entire career. It was something that found him back in the minor leagues short after his promotion initially to the big leagues. Inability to control runners. We know about the power fastball. We know about the off-speed stuff. But again, we talked about relievers needing to be able to control the running game when they come into the game late. We've seen this lead exchange hands. Every run counts.
And now it's 2-0 to Simmons. Simmons may have chased a ball.
Simmons had the pitch outside, just trying to take it to right field to advance the runner, and even with 2-0, wanted to give himself up.
And he may have seen the perfect pitch to hit to the right side. Timeout called by Simmons. Angels have had 21 base runners today. So 2-2. Simien thought maybe it was low. A's will have the top of their order up when they come to bat in the top of the 9th. But you don't want to fall behind any further. You're already sitting at a 3-run deficit. Broken bat over Casillas' head to Simien. So Simien is retired, but it is a productive out as Calhoun read it well and he took off for third. So the stolen base comes into play.
Yes, it does, and the sound of the broken bat means that the only play was going to be get Simien at first.
Keenan Middleton looks like he is going to be the pitcher in the 9th inning for the Angels. First at bat for Nolan Fontana. Those are his numbers from AAA last year. He was called up when Kinsler went on the disabled list. Middle infielder. Stays right near home plate, 1-0.
What you might see here is a squeeze.
Yeah,
Mike Socha is you never know with Mike, especially with Fontana infield in. He hasn't had a lot of playing time, a lot of at-bats, and especially the situation. And usually on a suicide squeeze, the runner takes off as soon as the pitcher starts his delivery. At that point, if it's a bunt in play, all you can do is get him at first.
Nice play by Lucroy. How many is that tonight, Ray?
Well, that's 3 with a runner at third, and I've got him 9 with a runner on base to keep him from advancing into scoring position. So yes, he's been very busy tonight. And we should be seeing it in the statistic pack tomorrow, but we won't.
I'm with you on that one. That is a stat that is very legitimate.
You know, as Dallas knows, as a pitcher, those are things that you want to do to have confidence in your catcher to make. You can make the pitches knowing your catcher's going to block them if they're in the dirt.
And really, it's a valuable piece of information for a catcher, especially if you think about a guy like Jonathan Lucroy coming over in the situation he did, the unfamiliarity, being able to show these numbers to your staff. Look, boys, go ahead and bury it with 2. I got you.
That's right.
So 3-0, and that's a strike. So I'm looking at Nolan Fontana in the media guide, Ray, and it says he is the grandson of Lou Burdett.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Grandson of Lou Burdett.
The MVP of the 1957 World Series for the victorious Milwaukee Braves.
The last time, right? Aaron. Oh, that's a good hook.
So now 3-2.
That's a pretty good team. Randall
should have won in '58.
Yeah.
Yankees came storming back.
Is Johnny Logan playing short?
Yep.
Frank Torrey.
Joe Adcock.
Billy Bruton.
Good swing there by Fontana. I'm acting like I went to all the games and I wasn't born yet.
Remember Joe Adcock managed the Indians when I was playing there?
Did he really?
And that's what everybody took the
guy,
bus.
right?
Oh yeah, took the bus and he was in the manager's seat. 1 minute after 5, or actually a little bit 5 or something. And, hey, Skip, somebody's coming. Close the door. And you didn't mess with Big Joe. He's a big man.
Did they ride buses back then? It wasn't a train?
Hey.
No. It was a bus. It was a bus. That was because there were teams on the West Coast.
Swing and a miss. Casilla with that good breaking ball. Nasty.
That's right. I mean, we talked about it. We know about the overpowering fastball, but the complementary pitch to that fastball is that big breaking ball, that two-plane pitch, one that can change eye levels. It's just a good job by Casilla to continue to work down in the zone, move the heater around.
Take a ride on that train.
Train, you gotta be kidding.
Here's Ohtani. Ohtani has a home run. He walked with the bases loaded, so he's got a couple of RBIs.
And guys, I tell you, after that swing he just took, Ohtani, he wasn't looking at me in the eye, just kind of glancing up over the dugout, and he just made the kind of, I don't really, nope, didn't see that.
That's a curveball. That's one, yeah.
Fastball at 94 miles an hour.
Interesting, Calhoun coming down the line rather aggressively, trying to distract Casilla to get him to balk. Chapman way off the line at third.
Ohtani waves at that pitch that was down and in the dirt.
Well, the same pitch that he swung and missed for strike one. Curveball down and in. Jonathan Lucroy has been perfect tonight. Busy, but perfect.
So 1-2. Casilla trying to put Ohtani away.
Should eventually be another curveball, you think? Yep. Considering the way that he swung at the two that he's gotten from Casilla.
To the backstop. And Calhoun comes in to score. So the Angels get that extra run. It's now 13-9. Very frustrated Casilla.
Well, and unfortunately, sometimes you're calling a pitch for waste before you're going to go back to the next pitch. And they wanted it up a little bit, and this is airmail. And unfortunately, for a catcher to go up that quickly to catch a ball that seems to be rising, which is not, but thrown very hard, you just can't reach up quickly enough. So with 2 strikes on the hitter, 2 very good curveballs. There it is again.
So Ohtani strikes out, but the Angels get an insurance run. So last shot for the Athletics. They trail 13-9.
Time now for the Chrysler drive of the game. We thought with 5 home runs, the Athletics, it may be one of them, but unfortunately, it was this one, the big one. Blake Trinan, 3-2 sinker, right center field for Justin Upton over the outreach of Ballpark. It went over the line, which means it's a 3-run home run. And that's the difference right there. And Justin Upton, 5 unearned runs. They're all unearned, weren't they? All 5 in the
I think so, yeah.
All 5 unearned.
Keenan Middleton comes in for his 5th appearance. It is not a save situation. It would have been if Angels hadn't added that last run on the wild pitch. So Middleton will face the top of the order. He is the 7th pitcher in this game for the Angels. The A's have also used 7. You don't feel quite so bad if you win the game if you have to use a whole bunch of pitchers. What hurts is if you don't win. And at least in the A's case, whatever happens in this game, they know that they have Monday off and Thursday off. Oh, 0-2 to Matt Joyce, who homered in the 2nd, a 2-run shot.
Seemed like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yes, it was. Andrelton Simmons was shaded over behind second base, and he grabs it. So 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. And that'll bring up Marcus Simien. Simien homer. That was also in the 2nd inning. Back to back. So he is 1 for 4. Both the bullpens wobbled a little bit at times tonight. Drozian gave up the big 2-run homer to Chapman. Jim Johnson gave up a run on the Olsen home run. But I thought Johnson having a 3-up, 3-down inning in the bottom of the 8th was big, or the top of the 8th. On deck is Jed Lowrie. Kind of a half swing by Simien just to stay alive. Rolls over near the A's dugout. .605 first pitch tomorrow night. Triggs and Ramirez.
A's pitchers had 1, 2, 3 inning. 3rd inning. Busy score sheet up there.
Yeah. A lot going on the score sheet.
Angels pitchers. Had the Johnson. That's Andrew Triggs with a hoodie. Count the 3rd for the A's when Ballpark was picked off. There were 3 batters.
Right at Trout. And maybe off the end of that a little bit by Simien. So 2 outs here in the 9th inning. 6 consecutive A's hitters have been retired. So it's up to Lowrie to just try to keep this game alive. Lowrie a homer, a single, a strikeout, and a fly ball to center field. So he is 2 for 4. Lowrie has faced Middleton 4 times in his career. He's 1 for 4, so not a real large sample size. A little bit low, 3-0. Middleton, a very hard thrower. Angels probably wouldn't mind seeing him at some point maybe take over the closer's role.
Yeah.
He's off to a pretty good start.
We'd like to score 4 more with 2 outs. They've done it all night with a bunch of 2-out runs.
Think about it here, 3-0. Another good take by Jed. We're in business. You got a runner on first. Katie up with a power threat. You know who's coming behind him. A couple more boppers.
Lowrie takes a strike there, 94 miles an hour. And those guys would love to get a chance to hit in this inning. Pitches bounce right into the A's dugout, and then it bounces right back out. Picks it up.
There's a case of a 4-run lead, nothing but fastballs for Middleton, and Jed Lowrie just a little bit too quick. Hope Steve Wilson is all right. He was down there.
So a full count. The pitch driven to right, and it's hit well. Calhoun on the move. Calhoun's going to play it off the base of the wall. Lowrie hustling for second. Now he's got to stop, go back to first, and he is out. Well, the A's may want to take a look at it. A very strange way to end the game, certainly.
Well,
so
there's
nothing. Are checking.
There's nothing to lose. Check it. I think they're going to check it.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not?
And that's it. That's it. That's how the ball game ends. So a strange ending to what was a wild game and a disappointing game for the Athletics. A game that they led early but just could not hold it, and the Angels offense, which is very, very good, came storming back. 3 hours and 35 minutes was time of game, played in front of 36,023. The final score in game 1 of the series. It's the Angels over the Athletics, 13-9. Time now for A's post-game live. Guys sitting by in the studio, here's Jim Cozumel.